From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Thursday, also known as, don't let me down, Chris.
Friday Eve.
That's right. Taking you up to 2 p.m. We have Nate Littlefield behind the glass for us today as we get through all things NBA, some NFL news as well. The finals going on for NBA. Adam Silver had more things to say. And we address the elephant in the room when it comes to the Sacramento Kings. We will tell you what or who that elephant is a little bit later in the show. And, of course, more NBA draft talk. Something that came out, yesterday, Chris, that showed, based on who the Kings are working out, if you read the tea leaves, does that mean whether or not they are going to keep the pick? We will break all of that down, but we start with the Celtics and the Mavs. And before we start there, Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Good, man. Yeah. You started talking about elephants and things, and I was getting worried that we were going to bring back whatever Dave was talking, super wieners or whatever. I was a little concerned. I was like, I already got led astray in the first segment. I don't want this to go off the rails.
I don't go off the rails until at least 12:30,
exactly,
typically.
Once we're done with the mock draft, that's when things. Yes. All things are elephant. Yeah, absolutely. Man, doing good. The game yesterday was exciting and then boring and then exciting again and then boring and then I think it finished exciting. So, the game yesterday was what it was. And yeah, we only have finals games for a couple more days is how I'm feeling.
Right. And the season will be over before you know it. And really, really soon if the Mavs don't get it together. And we want to get into why people seem to, as far as I'm concerned, like to complain about the NBA. I saw so many posts and tweets last night saying these NBA finals, these playoffs have been so bad. They've been this, they've been that. And
How bad were they?
I've been trying to formulate not really my complaint about the complaints, but why it feels like people like to complain about the NBA more than, honestly, other sports. I mean, maybe Major League Baseball wishes more people would complain about them because that would mean they would actually be getting talked about. But the NFL, doesn't matter if you were missing Aaron Rodgers, you were missing Joe Burrow, but nobody says that it's a bad, there's no such thing as a bad NFL playoffs. Doesn't matter who's in it or not.
Right.
But when it comes to the NBA, people love to complain. Let's discuss why. That's coming up at 10:30. Oh my goodness. And I don't know. There's two versions. There's the Meet the Grams version with Brian Windhorst, and there's a normal version where he's just talking on SportsCenter after the game, destroying. And destroying is not even a strong enough word. Eviscerating Luka Doncic and his defense and his complaining. Brian Windhorst, he had a lot to say, so we will play that audio for you. But when it comes to why people love to complain about the NBA, and it connects back to maybe the face of the NBA or the lack of the face of the NBA as far as the OGs are concerned, all their way out with LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant, everybody like that. The issue, Chris, I think with this version of the finals, right, is that Luka, I don't know how likable he is.
Yeah.
You have Kyrie Irving, who's still making his way back from some of the things that he's done in his past. And on the other end, the Celtics are a bit boring. The most exciting person on the Celtics is now the coach, Joe Mazzulla. And what is coming out on Joe Mazzulla and the oddball things that he makes the guys do and watch and the things that he says, there's a whole compilation that's going around social media. So I'm just going to throw it to you, Chris, because I know you have more on the whole situation.
This was put on my radar, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago. Joe Mazzulla had a weird clip the other day of a reporter before game one asking him essentially like, hey, like what does it mean to you? This is the first or one of the few finals that have ever had two black head coaches. Just what are your thoughts on that? Like, how special is that? And, I don't have an issue with the actuality of what he responds by just straight face, monotone saying, I wonder how many of those were Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. That's all. Yeah. We don't need to discuss any of that. That's not my issue with it. My issue is he just says that, and then there's like 10 seconds of silence after, and it's not answering the question. And, again, whatever your thoughts on that is, whatever, but it was just the awkward vibe in which he let it sit with. And then after that, you start saying, no, he's actually done this before.
Yes.
He had a moment with the royal family where he kind of did a similar thing.
The royal family was there, and they said, how does it feel playing in front of the royal family? He said, the only royal family I know is Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Yes. Again, fine answer, whatever.
It's not even what he said. It's not the pausing after.
It's the pausing. I'm telling you.
And he loves the awkwardness. He just is. He loves making people feel awkward in that room.
And it's that on top of so many other things. And actually our very own Brendan Nunez sent me this TikTok of, you think those two things are weird. There's a laundry list of weird Joe Mazzulla moments. I think we have a cut of the TikTok here.
One time the royal family went to a Celtics game, and they asked Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla how he felt about having them there. He said, royal family? The only royal family I know is Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. He recently compared the Celtics roster to the Spider-Verse. Ever seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? There's like 20 different Spider-Men. That's like our team. That's literally us. One time he walked past Marcus Smart in the locker room and did a full somersault in front of him, and then he said, you can't do that. They asked Marcus Smart if it was some kind of inside joke. He's like, I don't know why he did that. Last year in the playoffs, he said the Celtics mindset is win or die. He went on the court one time to try and block a shot after it was a dead ball. Charles Barkley said, if he did that to me, I would have knocked the hell out of him. Mazzulla responded to this. He said, I'm always up to get knocked out. I think that's important too. If you can't go through the day hoping you don't get knocked out, I don't know what you do. Probably the most well-known trait of Joe Mazzulla's is that he's obsessed with The Town, the movie The Town. He said he watches it 4 times a week. Apparently this is pretty difficult to do because this guy was like, I tried to watch it 4 times in a week and it broke me. Nobody should do this. A different person tried it and they were like, there's no way he actually does this. They asked him if he likes it when his players miss out on accolades, and he was like, I'm a big Spike guy, so yeah. As he walked off, he said he knows it's not healthy, but he's working through it. Al Horford said he couldn't run a marathon because he wouldn't make it more than a mile. Joe Mazzulla said, I would just go until I die.
Just incredible. I mean, I, as someone who has an appreciation for dry humor, and I don't know if he's being funny, which is the other side of this that I haven't been able to tell if he's in on the joke, if he is weird but understands he's weird and is playing into it.
Right.
What's going on here? But I'm loving everything that I'm seeing from Joe Mazzulla off the floor. The on the floor stuff is fine, and I think we've talked about how complicated it is to try and figure out how much of this is coach versus talent and all that stuff. But Joe Mazzulla on the floor or off the floor is a winner in my book. He's a Hall of Famer in my book.
And apparently last night there was a lot of talk about UFC. Jason Tatum says Joe Mazzulla shows the team videos of UFC fighters getting choked out to show how they can stay calm in those moments and fight back. Joe Mazzulla, I believe last night said, when you're getting your butt kicked, and he didn't say butt, or when you're kicking someone's butt, you're that close to getting your butt kicked, I guess is a way to keep them on their toes going into game 4. They're just as vulnerable as the Mavericks are. Yeah, he's something else. And I saw Derek White. Yeah. Derek White was essentially asked if you think Joe Mazzulla liked that they lost the lead, and he said probably he's a sicko. So, I mean, the guy, and look, man,
it's so great, man.
When if you
that's
need
what I want
shtick,
from my coach, man. That's what I want. I want to turn the Jets on. I want the weird, awkward. My coach is crazy, but I love how crazy my coach is.
I don't know how good or bad Joe Mazzulla is.
I'll tell you that.
I don't know how good or bad Joe Mazzulla is yet, but I can tell you this much. If he wasn't winning, that man would be canned so fast. They'd say, what are you talking about? You're a weirdo. Please leave.
Why are you showing our players people getting choked out?
And we're calling security.
Can we please watch tape? Can we watch film?
Yes.
Please.
You win games. Hey, this guy's a genius. You lose games. I'm calling security.
Was the somersault incident when Marcus Smart was a Celtic? Or
I hope so. That's a great point.
It's when he's with Memphis. So in my head, I'm like, he just did it. Yeah, that
would make things so much better.
There's no way. Or if that's the first time he's seen Marcus Smart since the trade.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he does.
Like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Check this out.
You doing that in Memphis?
Have you guys seen the video? The old head who's like, but you can't do this though. You can't do this on concrete.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he tries to do a backflip. That's what I imagine Joe Mazzulla doing this summer.
Yeah, he's something else.
Concrete.
But when you win and everybody, like I said, he's rattling off numbers similar to Sean McVay. And when you win games, you got to make a name for yourself somehow. And
There's good crazy and bad crazy.
I do think he's genuine. I do think he's authentic. I don't think it's a shtick. But when you are as, I guess, random as he is, and obviously it's going to take note. And to be fair, and this is no slight on Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown for that matter, when your team is fairly boring, it's going to stick out even more.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Because we're looking for searching for something during this finals as it all but comes to an end. We'll see if the Mavericks have anything left in the tank. And speaking of the Mavericks, we get to that Brian Windhorst sound when we get back as he destroys Luka's entire existence. And the question becomes, it goes so fast from this guy is anointed, this is one of the top backcourts of all time, to will Luka ever win a championship? I know that means something especially special in Sacramento. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
It's the Make This the Summer event, and it's going on now at Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Hi everyone, Leonard Harrington here, and I want to tell you how we make your buying experience at Lodi CDJR as easy as possible. You can come in for a visit, or you can do everything online at LodiCDJR.com. Just pick out the make and model you want and scroll through our large in-stock inventory. Next, schedule a test drive at the click of a button. If you want to finance your vehicle, you can start your paperwork online too, saving you plenty of time before you get here. And if you're looking to sell your vehicle or looking to buy, we'll give you an instant cash offer online too. At Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we make it easier than ever to put you into a new vehicle. It's what we do. Online at LodiCDJR.com or in person. We're right off 99 in Kettleman, where we're open till 9 every night and Sundays after church.
Prices are better at the Low Price Center. Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Visit us at LodiCDJR.com.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is not yesterday's price. Just a couple weeks ago, or literally a week ago, it was Luka. Oh my goodness. Kyrie. This is the best backcourt of all time. This is two of the most skilled players ever. This week it's Luka Doncic may never win a championship if he doesn't change how he plays. This is how it happens in the NBA, Chris. I love it. I love the overreactions, and I love the reactions to the overreactions. A little bit later, we will get to Dan Hurley, as he was on Dan Le Batard, and he let people know, yeah, there was a price tag. The Lakers didn't get there, though, so we will have some fun with that. But first, Brian Windhorst goes in on Luka right after the game. He did a post-game interview with Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter. And Brian Windhorst essentially said, I think, what a lot of people have been thinking, but he articulated it perfectly. This is what he had to say.
Luka and Kyrie combined for actually more than Tatum Brown did, but Luka fouls out late. I just wonder your reaction to that whole sequence.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect that Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, you better bleeping challenge it, as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use what's happened in this finals as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because because they've attacked him defensively. And you've got a situation here where Luka is complaining about the officiating. They have begged him. They have talked with him. They have pleaded with him. He is costing his team because of how he treats the officials. He's a brilliant player. He does so many things well. They are here because of how he did. His performance in this game is unacceptable, and the reason why the Mavericks are not going to win. He's got to get over this. And the fact that he came out after the game and blamed the officials showed me he's nowhere close yet. So maybe over the summer, somebody will get to him because nobody with the Mavericks or anybody else in his life has. And that's where the Mavericks are at this point. They're never going to get to this tunnel with the trophy if he doesn't improve those aspects of his game.
Got to put the ether beat behind that one.
Oh boy.
Somebody put the Meet the Grams beat behind it as well. Brian Windhorst just going in on Luka.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was necessary, man. I mean, look, in Sacramento, because of the whole situation, which we don't have to rehash, it'll come off as sour grapes, and people don't want Luka to succeed because of Sacramento's decision not to draft him. And yes, he was in Sacramento. He said he should have drafted me, and he's looking at Vlade, and it was embarrassing. But with that being said, even just objectively speaking, without purple lenses, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. He complains every single possession. And Chris, I'm not a lip reader, or I can, but not from that far away when I'm watching on TV. It looks like he's giving the refs the business.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, and I think it was yesterday Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross, and I meant to bring this up, but we're always talking about birthdays and super wieners and things like that. When Carmichael Dave said there are different types of, I guess, ways to complain at the officials, and how Boogie, the way he would do it, DeMarcus Cousins, it would have a lot of vitriol, and the refs couldn't take that.
Anger.
And he was essentially, and Dave can correct me if I'm wrong, he was essentially saying that there are different types, and maybe Luka doesn't do that.
For sure.
If you look at Luka's face, brother, it looks like he's saying some wild stuff. Maybe he's saying it in Slovenian, but it looks like he's saying some wild stuff. Yeah. And very similar to we talk about Legion of Boom. You're not going to give him a tech every time, right? You're not going to tell him to stop every single time. So he has the most techs, but he's giving it to the refs every single possession, Chris. Mm-hmm. There were 2 possessions back to back, and I know you saw this when he took a 3. Kind of tried to do the James Harden. He fell both times, didn't get back on defense. And that was about a 7-point swing with those 2 possessions. And Luka is just ripping the officials.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to me when I heard Brian Windhorst said, because we're not in the Mavs spaces. We don't know how often people are talking to him as far as the Mavs are concerned. So this is a whole thing. And basically the Mavs, Brian Windhorst is saying the Mavs have told Luka to stop. He's 25 years old. You're not 22 anymore.
Sure.
You're not 21. You got to stop.
I mean, LeBron does it, and he's 40.
He doesn't do it.
I think
like
they're
this,
two
Chris.
separate conversations. I think the bad defense and the complaining are 2 separate conversations. Of course, like they do end up crossing over each other, but I think it's like a general thing of laziness and like of him not. I mean, essentially thinking he's going to get superstar treatment, and I do think that there is some fault that needs to be taken on the Mavericks too, because Luka is this guy. Like it's who he's been his whole career. It's who he was in Europe as well. And, frankly, it is part of the reason why Vlade wasn't 100% sure he was going to work out here. Mm-hmm. And, I think that it's a problem more so of like Steph's not a good defender. You need to have good defenders around him. You can't surround him with Kyrie Irving and PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr. and then have moments. Why were there moments where Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford weren't on the floor? I didn't understand it at all. To me, that's my biggest issue with the defensive side of things. Luka, I already know, isn't going to be playing defense. You're going to be playing 4-on-5. You need a Draymond Green. Like you need a to Steph Curry, like that. There's a reason why Draymond's influence and impact was felt so much. It's because Steph was a below average defender for a long period of time. And his defensive greatness helped elevate things. So I kind of think it's not to shift blame from Luka, but I just kind of think that's who he is and you need to build around him. The complaining thing is definitely annoying for sure. But I think everybody in the NBA does it. I think Luka is definitely one of the worst culprits of it, but at the end of the day, LeBron does it too. And I think Luka just needs to figure out a different way of doing it because Chris Paul does it. They all do it.
It's every
and I
possession,
don't think it's going to stop.
Chris.
Everybody does it every single possession. And Luka's been a lot better in this postseason. He's been a lot.
Because they've been winning.
Yeah.
They've been winning.
I mean, yeah, for sure. And I think they're going to continue to win through his tenure. I just think, it's a really bad look when he's not playing defense and he's complaining and his team is losing. but I mean, I don't think he's playing. We had some good defensive moments from him in that Minnesota series. For sure.
Remember when he deflected that pass? Yeah. People were saying, "Wow!" So
effort. Yeah.
So the question becomes, what happened? And yes, he's been grabbing, and that's the thing about Luka. He's been grabbing his rib.
Right?
Is that why? I don't know, but
probably doesn't help. He's got the world's biggest usage percentage.
Yeah, these things. There are levels to this, and this actually kind of turns into what we're going to do in a couple minutes here as far as the playoffs and my take on the playoffs and everybody complaining about this year's playoffs, and we'll explain it on the other side. But I had this, Chris, from an NBA writer. He does stuff for SB Nation and Dub Nation. He writes for the Warriors, but what he was explaining is that a big reason why the Celtics have been torching the Mavs is because they've been exploiting the defensive concept of helping the helper in the sense that they're either not allowing it at all or making it tough to execute. And the only reason I bring that up is because going back to Joe Mazzulla and his UFC, the Celtics, some of this is the Celtics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of this is the Celtics. Some of this is Luka's usage. Yeah. Some of this is Luka's ever-bleeding knee. Yeah. Some of this is his rib, his rib cage, whatever's going on there. I get all that, but it does look bad when the optics look terrible when you're complaining and not getting back.
No, for sure.
You have to control the effort. And we're going to play some Tom Brady later, who was inducted to the Patriots Hall of Fame, because I love my motivational speeches, and it's just a matter of how bad you want it. Yeah, and look, we've done this with Dan Marino. Is Luka going to be back? I'd like to think that he would be based on his talent. But you got one shot at this, and you're laying on the ground, and you're down 2-0. That's what well, you were down 2-0. Now you're down 3-0 because you want to get off the ground. Yeah. So I get it. We can all put it into a pot of gumbo, but I think the roux in the gumbo is that Luka just needs to grow up a little bit.
Sure.
And he will. And I would hope that he will. Yeah. And I know the Mavs hope that he will. And that's why this is only chapter 1.
Yeah,
right?
That's really why I don't have a huge problem with it. I mean, I definitely think everything everybody is saying is true. I just think it's, this is a learning experience. Like, when was the first time that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were in the finals? They had to go through this too. Yeah. And then look how many years it took them to get back to the point where now they are where they are. So like Luka, who I think everybody would probably say that he's a better player than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, like, let him fail first. It's what we talked about with Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. These guys have to go through things first. It'd be great. Not everybody is generational or once in a lifetime enough to, first go around, first time I'm in the finals, I could just blow through it. It's no problem. I don't experience any setbacks. That's not common. Even LeBron got swept by the Spurs in his first finals. You have to lose before you can win. Look at the example like the Timberwolves. They had to lose year after year. The Nuggets, you lose year after year after year, and it can be brought back to the Kings. You have to lose and go through things to understand we can't do that again. It'd be great if we can go through life without making mistakes, but these guys are just humans too. They make mistakes, and then hopefully they learn from it. It gets frustrating when you aren't learning from the mistakes. So if Luka does this again, absolutely pile on him. But I'm going to give him at least the benefit of the doubt for this time before we start, not us, but before the national media starts to decrown Luka.
Yeah, it should be a learning experience. We'll see if it actually is. And look at Steph. I mean, a lot of people would say if Kevin Love and Kyrie don't get hurt, maybe Steph loses his first final. Who knows? So I think Luka coming out and essentially saying you can't let somebody foul out in the finals. That's essentially what he was saying. It's a bad look.
Yeah, he fouled out. It was his decision to foul out.
It is a bad look, but to that point, moving forward, Luka, will you learn from this? Will you grow up from this? And honestly, if you're the Mavs, I mean, I know they don't have as many assets because they did go all in, but if you're the Mavs and you do get another piece, now you're really scary if you hold on to Kyrie and he doesn't go to the Lakers or something like that. Coming up next, we discuss why everyone is complaining about the NBA Finals, and I explain why, similar to the Sacramento Kings season, this is only the beginning. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the three. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA 3 Weather Center, and another day of sunshine today. Temperatures will be a bit cooler thanks to the Delta breeze. We're looking at daytime highs in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees this afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and zero down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Do you spend all day staring at screens? Whether it's your phone, computer, or television, too much screen time can have a serious impact on your eyes, causing eye strain, nearsightedness, fatigue, and even headaches. Now, protecting your eyes is easier than ever with new Nordics Blueberry Eye Supplements. Specifically formulated to improve eye health, new Nordics Blueberry Supplements not only protect your eyes, but help improve night vision as well as relieve and minimize eye fatigue and damage caused by digital devices. Only New Nordic uses wild Swedish blueberries because of their superior concentration of color pigments. These pigments are vital to eye function, macular health, and your overall vision. New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements are Scandinavia's #1 selling natural eye formulas and have been for over 20 years. They are now available in America. Find them online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at Meijer. Search Blueberry Eye Supplements on Amazon or go to NewNordicUSA.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Are you one of those players that finishes a round, takes off your golf shoes, and dumps them in your car trunk? Golf Digest says you can extend the life of your shoes with just a bit of care. Use a little warm water and maybe a drop of soap to wipe away any dirt after your round. Actually, I just wipe mine with a wet towel when I take them off, and they stay looking like new. Also, use shoe trees to maintain their shape and keep the insides dry. If you have more than one pair, rotate them so you don't wear the same shoes 2 days in a row. Change your spikes because new spikes will help you get more traction for your faster than necessary swing. And with Sacramento's hot summers, give your shoes a break and don't leave them in the trunk of your car. That will suck the life right out of them. With so many brands, styles, and colors on the market today, you can certainly find the right pair for your personality and your game. When you think about it, golf shoes are really part of your equipment. Treat them well. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa. The United States Open Golf Championship brings together the best golfers on the earth for the coveted trophy. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It seems to me that the U.S. Open and Naturewood Home Furnishings have much in common, as Naturewood brings together the highest quality brands and furniture made right here in the United States. And in this case, the winner is you. When you visit Naturewood, you'll be amazed at the gallery of superior furniture available for your lifestyle, for your decor, for your home. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more made in the USA selections, you're sure to find the perfect piece you've been searching for. Naturewood is proud to bring you U.S. Open updates on the station and proud to offer you the finest furnishings available. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLE.
From the 707, Luka is talented enough to be the number one on a championship team, but he seems to be more interested in baiting foul calls and gaming the system instead of just playing good basketball. And he cries whenever he doesn't get his way. From the 916, does Luka complain more than Draymond? I believe he is worse. That's from Nick. Chris, this is an interesting one. And now it becomes a question of people taking it maybe a little too far.
No.
From the 916, I bet Vladi is laughing his you-know-what off. He knew Luka was a crybaby and would be a detriment to team chemistry. Took a chance with Bagley. Too bad Bagley was injury-prone. Is that a little too far, Chris?
Well, you're just setting yourself up to get a retort of like, I mean, yeah, Luka's in the finals right now. So,
right.
I'm sure Vlade really looks dumb as Luka's complaining his way to a finals appearance.
Would you say that, not to go down that rabbit hole, but would you say that Bagley gets the injury prone excuse? Or was he just not good?
Injuries played a factor in it, but that was not the reason why it didn't work out for him. He was just not, he just was kind of stuck in old big man ways. Like he just didn't really have any face up game. He was a lot of, post hooks. He didn't really have any post moves. He was really athletic, but he didn't have any sort of go-to move at all. He just kind of got lost in the shuffle of today's NBA. He just wasn't really a modern big man. He was a lot more of a 4 than a 5. And unfortunately his body probably made him more of a 5 than a 4. So it just wasn't the right pick. People, it's one thing to say, hey, I'm glad the Kings didn't take Luka because I would have a tough time rooting for somebody who complains that much. I understand that, but let's not act like it was a bad decision or like by any stretch of the imagination, the Kings made the right decision.
Yeah, I do. And getting to the Zach Edey conversation, and I know they're a bit different, but these big men that don't do something unique, it's just really tough, man. I mean, James Wiseman, he was supposed to stretch the floor a little bit. He wasn't able to do that. And even DeAndre Ayton, I guess, is a success because he got to a second contract, but he ain't even with the same team. So these big men, it's tough. I mean, we discussed point guards and how they're becoming not a dime a dozen, but you can find some elite point guards fairly often. It's very similar with this big man conversation. I mean, unless you have just a unique big man, just give me Clint Capella and let's just keep it pushing.
Honestly,
that's how I feel about it.
It's a version of, definitely. If you're nothing special, and I mean, I think the weird thing is Sabonis kind of floats in the in-between of like, he's better than Jonas Valanciunas, but he's not Nikola Jokic either. So, it's kind of a weird in-between, and I definitely would rather have Sabonis than have, your Nick Claxtons of the world or whatever. But definitely. I mean, at the center position, it's pretty much you're either there to do two specific things, which is like rebound and rim run. And then if you can stretch the floor, that's a bonus. And or you're Jokic and Embiid and you can shoot threes and you can pass and you can score in the post and you're just a dominant presence. And it just feels like it's really, really hard to find those, generational big men. It's a lot tougher to find these big guys who play big, but again, have these guard skills. And, it's hard to especially find them in Jokic and Embiid bodies. We're finding them now in like these Chet Holmgren, Evan Mobley bodies. And, maybe that's kind of where the NBA goes, is more losing these true, like big behemoth men. And it's more just like, Bol, he's 7'3", but he's as light as your point guard.
Which is so interesting because from what I've seen from Alex Sarr, who is projected to go top 3, he's not big like the old school centers. He has a body type like Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, but he doesn't really shoot like that.
No.
From what I've seen, he doesn't really stretch the floor like the other guys.
He's a dribbler.
Yes, but at the same time, you're always gonna take a chance on that type of size, and I think that is what teams will continue to do moving forward. And some teams will hit, but it's a matter of what level of hit it is. I mean, Alex, a lot of these guys you forget how high in the draft that some of these guys went. All right, Chris, I texted you last night after the game, and I was trying to formulate this, and we want your help, 916-339-1140, because it is a bit broad. But the initial thing I saw was everybody complaining about the NBA Finals and saying, this is the worst NBA Finals. And to be fair, my timeline has a lot of Kings fans and Warrior fans. So a lot of Warrior fans were saying, this is the worst NBA Finals. Okay, because Steph's not in it. This is the worst NBA Finals. Okay, LeBron's not in it. So I'm trying to figure out, I guess Kings fans are probably more objective in that regard, and seeing all these people complain about the NBA Finals. And I don't know why it bothered me. And it kind of goes to the conversation that we've had before as far as the NBA as a product and the NFL as a product. And if you want to connect some of the injuries to the amount of games that the NBA plays, I think that's a bit of a reach, but fine. But all these people saying how bad the NBA playoffs were and how bad the NBA finals have been, the way they say it, it's as if it's the NBA's fault. And I don't really know what they are trying to articulate when it is the worst. It's terrible. It's been like the product is bad, right? And when I look at this NBA playoffs, you had Giannis go down. That was an issue.
Yep.
You had Jimmy Butler go down. That was an issue. Injuries decimated the NBA playoffs, specifically in the East.
Yeah.
And even on the East, you still had some real that Sixers-Knicks was
great.
Was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Both Knicks series, the fact that I was complaining about the Knicks out here in Sacramento tells you it was a good series.
Right.
There were good series. Anthony Edwards, that Nuggets Timberwolves series was a great series. The finals haven't been great, but that happens all the time.
Yeah.
NFL, Aaron Rodgers goes down, not a problem. And maybe this is just the NFL is perfect in people's eyes.
Sure.
Joe Burrow goes down. Who cares, right? People still buy all their stuff. You just had him on the list a couple days ago. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but it really feels like people want to complain. And maybe these aren't hardcore NBA fans. Yeah. Maybe they're more. I'm not necessarily I'm a Warrior fan more than I'm an NBA fan
or a Steph fan or
I'm
a LeBron fan.
I'm a LeBron fan. So I think I think it's a combination, and I don't want to steal your thunder because we talked a little bit about it in the pre-show. But people think they're ready for the next wave of stars, but I don't know if they actually are. I think people still wanted to hate watch LeBron.
Yeah.
I think people still want to hate watch Steph. I think people don't really know, but if Kevin Durant got there, at least it would give them some feeling.
Right.
But what they need to understand is that it takes time. Yeah. I think part of that is the Celtics are boring.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we're talking about Joe Mazzulla to lead our show and not Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Personality-wise, the Celtics are boring. Not on the court, but personality-wise, they are boring. And Luka, I don't think he's that likable right now.
No, he's not.
You can tell by the text line and the Sac Chat and the call line, he's not that likable right now. I think we're still trying to battle back from everything that's happened with Kyrie. So there's a lot going on there. I know I rambled, but it just feels like people just love to complain as if, is it Adam Silver's fault that the playoffs weren't good? What are you trying to tell us? What are you trying to say when you complain about the NBA playoffs? Whose fault are you trying to say it is?
I mean, I can't speak for those people. I would only assume that those people are, they're creatures of habit in the NBA more so than any league ever. And I say this all the time, but like there's been no parity, not a lack of parity. There's no parity in the NBA, and throughout their entire history, it's the Lakers, and then it's the Celtics, and then it's Bird and Magic, and then it's a little sprinkling of Pistons, and then it's Jordan, and then it's a little sprinkling of Spurs, and a little sprinkling of Lakers, and then it's a league of dynasties, and I think people grew accustomed to we have Bron versus Steph for 4 years, and then you expect it to be the biggest two names in basketball.
They said they were tired of
every single year, and that's how it goes. People are going to say they're tired of it, and then they get something new, and then they don't like it. And then it's, and like you said, it just takes time to build these things up. When Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have 2 or 3 rings, then people will understand the story more and be more invested. I think people were invested last year a bit into Jokic and just like, oh my gosh, are we really seeing the beginning of a run here, of a new era? And I think the fact that you didn't get any sort of continuation of that story, the fact that they didn't make the conference finals, and so you don't get a ton or the most amount of eyeballs on, okay, like they were already eliminated by the conference finals, and so you didn't have that story moving forward of, okay, reigning champions, these guys are trying to strip it because the people who stripped it from them ended up getting booted too. So I don't know. My long answer short would probably just be people want the NBA to be a star-driven league where the big faces are the names at the end, and when, it's two of, Luka is probably in that next tier of face, not of player, but of like personality and of notoriety. And I would say Tatum is maybe bottom so of that second tier as well. I just don't think it draws the people the same. But yeah, once LeBron and Steph and all these big names are really out of the league, and then they shift their focus to promoting these guys, I'm sure it'll be, people will long for the days of, remember when we had Luka and Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the finals? Wow, we did not appreciate that enough.
Yeah. I mean, Adam Silver has to feel like, well, and we did this last week. There are definitely different or worse combinations that could have happened.
I mean, it also doesn't help that the Celtics, they sweep the Pacers in the conference finals, and the Mavericks win in 5 or 6 or whatever, and then this is going to go 4. Like, all of the best series were in the second round and before, and it's what have you done for me lately? And people are saying, well, actually, when you think about it, the last 2 to 3 weeks of basketball haven't been as exciting as the first 2 or 3 weeks, and I think some of that plays a factor in it too.
I think the big fumble there was Anthony Edwards. I think the Timberwolves, after you beat the Nuggets, okay, now you took the baton to be the next. And
especially
then,
with his entertainment, too.
Right, and then you trick it off to the Mavericks, and then the Mavericks not even trick it off to the Celtics. They're just not good enough.
Yeah.
So I do think that the end of the play, but the end of the playoffs could have been better, but the playoffs as a whole, I don't think
there's been more forgettable playoffs.
Yes, they definitely have. Let's continue the conversation. We also have Adam Silver answering a question on how to fix the All-Star game. But we continue the conversation, 916-339-1140. What were your thoughts on the NBA? Not that they're over yet, but what have been your thoughts on the NBA playoffs? What can the NBA do to improve? And are they missing that star power? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles the man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirks Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park too. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Take my hand, let me make you mine.
It's Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club and Xfinity.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. N76, visit staples.com/print for details.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you.
Also, I'm a robot.
With T-Mobile, you can save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, we'll pay off your locked AT&T phone up to $650, and you'll get a new 5G phone for free. Pay off via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Free phone up to $830 via 24 monthly bill credits with qualifying plan and credit plus tax and $35 connection charge. Contact us before canceling to continue bill credits or they stop and required finance agreement balances due. See T-Mobile.com.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, tell me what's going on for Chrysler's Make This the Summer event.
If you need a new Ram, Hoblet has it. And now with even more savings on the hard-to-find heavy-duty Ram trucks you need. Right now, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 and 3500 Bighorn, Laramie, Limited, Longhorn, and Rebel. You pick.
Okay, you say you have Ram trucks, but how do I know you have the one I want?
We are California's #1 Ram truck dealer, which means we have over 500 new Rams available. And if for some reason we don't have your truck in stock, we will get it for you.
If you need a new Ram truck, Hoblet has it. Stop by for a test drive today or search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
11,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 and 3500s. Net savings after 10,500 dealer discount and 500 factory rebates. Rebates may include $500 Ram coupons only while supplies last. 20th is net savings. Sample VIN 216820. See dealer for details.
It's called All In. It's on YouTube on the
I assume
Celtics.
that's their version of the run.
Yes, I would assume so. Too bad the West couldn't put up a fight this year. From the 5-3.
Sounds like a Celtics fan to me.
Possibly.
I mean, if you're watching the
Well, they just like basketball. I think Luka is that big of a star, tier 1. People would be acting differently as he was lighting it on fire a few weeks ago. People were losing their mind over him and Kyrie. Yeah, they were. But, when the facts change, opinions change. That's just how it goes. This is what I would equate it to, Chris, to tie a bow on it. This was essentially a filler episode. Okay? This season was kind of a filler episode for the next seasons. And the boys are coming out. I don't know if you watch The Boys, but the new season of The Boys is coming out. And when you watch shows, they're filler episodes. And filler episodes basically help you get things set up for a really good episode. And I think that's what this season was. The storylines that have been set up from Anthony Edwards, right? Getting his first taste of big time playoff basketball, beating the defending champs. You have that going on. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming off a MVP caliber season, the 1 seed. You have that going on. The Nuggets, we thought they were going to run this thing. And all of a sudden the Nuggets, they lose to the Timberwolves. How do they respond to that? On the East, the Bucks, how do they figure it out with their injuries? The Miami Heat, they're always in conversations. Are they going to make a move? The 76ers, you're running out of time with Joel Embiid. Do they make a move? You're finally tying a bow on this. Do the Celtics remain dominant? Is this a start of a new dynasty with the Celtics? You're finally tying a bow on the Celtics storyline, right? Which may continue moving forward. But if not, there are so many other storylines going into next season that I understand that there have been more exciting seasons in the past for NBA. But at the same time, I think that's just what this season was. And next season barring injury, which again, a lot of this was because of injury, next season, the Knicks, what do the Knicks do to take that next step? The next season, barring injury, should be really good. And even with that being said, you're going to look back and on these playoffs, maybe not later in the playoffs, so you're going to say, man, the Knicks had the playoffs rocking for a couple weeks there, a month there. Man, Anthony Edwards, that's really where he built his brand and his star power in that playoff run when we're looking back, if they do go on to win it next season. So I understand it wasn't the best playoff run as a whole, and the finals haven't been good, and they're probably not going to get good. But I do think that that's what I would equate this to. And I think the NFL gets to have filler seasons all the time.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's a filler season. It feels to me like it's like a maybe like a sequel that everyone knows there's going to be a third installment of. And so it's like the movie's good, but the end isn't giving us some grand resolution of like fireworks and a big boss battle. Instead, it's kind of more leading us into the third installment without giving us like an actual resolution on what we just saw. Because, I mean, I think everything you set up is perfect. Like, you know, the next season, all the storylines that we're going to have going into next season.
And the Mavs. And,
like, you know, OKC being the 1 seed. Like, all of these were really real, exciting, fun things in the moment. It's not like as it was happening, we were questioning the legitimacy of it. It all felt real. It all felt like the stakes were going to come to a head in this season. And we were going to get an answer on OKC or Minnesota as the best young team. That's the one to worry about. And the Nuggets still holding on. And the problem is, at the end of the movie, it was, I guess, like you said, I guess we'll wrap up that side story of the Celtics, but you know, that wasn't kind of the whole thing that we were setting up this whole time. It felt like we were setting up this big boss battle, and you gave us a battle, but it wasn't necessarily the one we were looking for. So I mean, I definitely agree with the setup. Like, I think next season's going to be a blast, and it's honestly, maybe that's factoring a bit, because I'll tell you what, personally, and not to sound like Charles, or I think it was actually Stephen A. who said it, but like a bit of me is just like, can whatever gets this season over fastest so we can get to the off season, because I'm curious, especially from like, what are the Kings going to do? I want that ball to start getting in motion. And what are the Knicks going to do? Are they going to keep Julius Randle? Are they going to trade him? All these things. I'm just waiting for this season to end so I can get to the answers that I want to see. Can I start to see the start of the third movie already? I'm sick and tired of the end game result. What is it? Is it Infinity War and then end game? Whatever. I just want to see I want to see the start of the last movie already. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I wonder if that factors into people's enjoyment of this playoffs, because I've definitely felt it where it's like, I in my heart, I probably do want to root for Minnesota, but right now Dallas is up 3-1. And so I'm going to root for Dallas because, again, I just want this thing to get moving so that we can get to the real action.
Agreed. And, and I would say this as well. And honestly, the Celtics are just so good that they eliminated this possibility. And we had Mavericks fans saying the NBA ruined what could have been the best comeback in finals history last night. No, Luka ruined it when he fouled out. But with that being said, those moments that Luka had in Minnesota when he's yelling at Rudy Gobert, this actually, if the finals had figured itself out and if the Mavs just could have held on and maybe won last night, this could have had a pretty decent ending
for sure,
because of the fact that the text line is blowing up. The sack chat is blowing up because Luka is the picture perfect villain. That's what he's turning into.
Yes, he's Joker.
I am going to complain. I'm going to give it to the refs. I'm going to give it to the fans. And I'm going to drink beer after the game, and someone's going to take it out of my hands. And people are going to hate me for it. Some people are going to love me. Some people are going to hate me, but you're going to feel something.
You're going to feel me.
You're going to feel me. You don't feel me, dog. When you watch Luka, you feel something. Unfortunately, the Celtics are just too good this season, and they shut that down quickly. But I do think that if it wasn't for the Celtics just running shop on the map, if this thing goes 2-2, if they win last night, I think people and Luka had a shot at the end of the game, or Kyrie, who everyone wants to anoint Kyrie anyway. I think people are a little bit prisoner of the moment here that it's 3-0, but this was really close to being a good finals in spite of all the injuries. All right, coming up next, speaking of the association, Adam Silver has some thoughts on
fixing the All-Star game, and we get to the Lakers gig and Dan Hurley doing a media tour. Fair or foul? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
The IRS deadline has come and gone. So do you owe money to the IRS? If so, you need an ally. Whether you owe the IRS $6,000 or $600,000, whether your tax problems are personal or business, the professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to step in and negotiate your fresh start with the IRS. Here's a happy customer of Allies Tax Relief.
Before calling Allies Tax Relief, I feared the IRS would take all of my assets. I owed them over $562,000. Thankfully, I was referred to Allies and called them for help. They ultimately saved my life from uncertainty. Allies negotiated my giant tax debt to an unbelievable $1,500. They are professionals and they fight the fight for their clients.
Allies Tax Relief will protect your assets from being seized and your paycheck from being garnished. Call right now for your free consultation. 800-296-0772. That's 800-296-0772. Or visit AlliesTaxRelief.com.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. Now, Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
Hey, Sacramento, get ready to rock, groove, and have a blast with the Sactown Sports live events calendar. It's an unbeatable lineup of shows you won't want to miss. First up at Thunder Valley on June 22nd, don't miss NSYNC and Backstreet stars Joey Fatone and AJ McLean as they bring back the hits. On June 28th, it's country sensation Lee Brice lighting up the stage, all at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. And check out your Live Nation lineup on August 4th. Don't miss the Outlaw Music Festival at Toyota Amphitheater, featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. On August 15th, catch Donnie Osmond at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. And then on August 22nd, Creed Fisher takes the stage at Ace of Spades. And coming up September 10th, enjoy the timeless sounds of the Doobie Brothers at Toyota Amphitheater. Visit LiveNation.com for all your ticket information. And stay tuned to Sactown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
The United States Open Golf Championship brings together the best golfers on the earth for the coveted trophy. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It seems to me that the U.S. Open and Naturewood Home Furnishings have much in common, as Naturewood brings together the highest quality brands and furniture made right here in the United States. And in this case, the winner is you. When you visit Naturewood, you'll be amazed at the gallery of superior furniture available for your lifestyle, for your decor, for your home. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more made in the USA selections, you're sure to find the perfect piece you've been searching for. Naturewood is proud to bring you U.S. Open updates on this station and proud to offer you the finest furnishings available. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
The Gold Rush Classic is a celebrity pro-am golf tournament, a celebrity skins challenge, a $1 million hole-in-one contest, a celebrity draft party, an awards party, an incredible farm-to-fork dinner, and a fabulous concert under the stars. The Gold Rush Classic raises money for Make-A-Wish, Jordan's Guardian Angels, First Tee of Sacramento, and other worthwhile children's charities. It's happening August 22nd and 23rd at Rancho Murrieta. Imagine playing golf with an All-Pro or Hall of Famer like Brown, Fernandez, Ostertag, Theus, Jackson, Polynice, Sharp, and our own Greg Vaughn. The Gold Rush Classic offers this exciting opportunity, along with a chance to win the Rancho Murrieta Homes and Land $1 million Swing for Charity Hole-in-One contest. Rancho Murrieta Homes and Land is a full-service award-winning realtor and a proud sponsor of the Gold Rush Classic. For sponsorship information, visit goldrushclassic.org. That's goldrushclassic.org.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit FolsomLakeKia.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
From the 707, Bleep Dallas and Luca. All right. Thank you for that. 707.
Is Dallas starting to become a King rival? Is that like happening without them even having to play each other?
I saw Curtis Hicks on the Sack Chat say something to the effect of, injuring Malik Monk.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Kings fans are really on this Luka ruined our season thing.
He sure did.
916-339-1140. Did Luka Doncic ruin the Kings season?
He definitely did.
Because he did fall on Malik.
He fell on Malik, and those two games against Dallas in Sacramento, like that really
with a bad Achilles
set the tone for how the season would end.
And he looked at Vlade.
Yeah, he looked at Vlade. There was a lot of
you can't be there.
Yeah, a lot of demons. Just
I want to know how that happened.
72 hours.
Can we talk about that? How that happened?
How it happened? What happened?
I mean, if you're Vlade and the amount of games that you go to, I just might not go to that game.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have a little bit of hubris on. And something tells me, I don't know if Vlade picked that game, is what I would say. Something tells me Vlade received an invitation to specifically attend that game. And I just don't think that was a good idea. Just kind of, what Braun say in the playoffs. I think that was last year when he played Memphis. Like, if a bear chasing me in the woods, check on the bear or whatever. Like, yeah. Kind of a little bit of don't poke the bear in that situation.
Jerry West, that quote that was going around.
Yeah. I'm not a dog.
I'm not a dog.
I'm a wolf. I eat dogs.
Yeah. And when do you think Lucas saw Vlade in?
Probably before the game.
Oh,
he probably when he was warming up and he was like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing today.
Chris.
Yeah.
It was cooked. And we had no clue. We're sitting up there at the media table. When
I saw Vlade, I knew
Chris,
it was not going to go well.
I feel good,
There
Chris.
was no way. I
feel good.
Everything about this franchise. I don't know why you would test fate like that. And, I'm definitely not going to say that, you got what you deserved, because I definitely don't think that Malik going out for the rest of the season was what the Kings deserved there.
No.
You start tempting fate. You start tempting those basketball gods. You want to laugh in the basketball god's face.
Man.
They will laugh right back at you. And they're going to say, you guys, y'all want to laugh? You want to laugh at me right now?
You know what's crazy? Because I don't know, because it was they played, I don't think it was a back-to-back, but they played twice, right?
2 and 3 nights or something. Might have been 4.
Do you happen to remember?
No, it was a Tuesday, Friday.
Do you
remember they hung out in town forever.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Do you happen to remember if the Vlade day was the same day Malik got injured?
I can look into it real quick. I want to say it was.
Because if so,
then that day is especially
I was going to say, was that the lowest point in the Kings for the Kings season?
And it felt like.
And would it beat out losing to the Pistons at home? Would it beat out losing to the Hornets? It would be either losing to the Pistons or that day.
I mean, to me, the losses to the Mavericks stung more and to me meant more than losses to the Pistons. Like, we've gone through the list, like, good teams, really good, the best teams even lose to the worst teams on occasion. And it happened to every single team this year, maybe with the exception of the Celtics, but OKC has some losses against the Spurs, and Denver lost a really there is a world here where you can really argue the Spurs pretty much are the reason why the Nuggets are out of the playoffs. The Spurs lost, or I guess the Spurs beat the Nuggets at the end of the season, putting the Nuggets to the 3 seed, which is, you could argue, a reason why they weren't able to win the series. And so, yeah, I say all that to say, I kind of feel like losing to your peer, I guess, or at the time it seemed like those two should be peers, that they're in the same level of team, and to lose back-to-back, one in heartbreaking fashion with Dante Exum hitting that 3.
I don't know if he's taken a 3 or made a 3 since that.
Doesn't feel. I don't know if he's stepped on the. I know he's played
the dunk,
but it just
the dunk.
I know it just that was a nasty dunk. It just hasn't felt like he's had any sort of moment that big ever. And then that second game, I think because it was the second game where Luka ended up hurting Malik. I just can't feel like there was a lower point than that.
No. I mean, literally insult to injury.
Yes.
There was injury to insult. There you go. JR wants to be a part of the conversation. JR wants to hate on Luka, so fine, we'll give him the floor. What's up, JR? What you got for us?
Well, Kings fans in general should hate the Mavs for the early 2000s.
That's right.
They were a rival. We hated them, and it was, let's face it, Maloof against friggin' Cuban.
That's right.
But now it's the Fat from Europe.
Oh, JR. Get a better connection, JR. JR, call back. We need a better connection.
Yeah.
But
it sounds like all I heard was him call Luka the fat boy.
Yeah, the fat boy from Europe. I think that's what he said.
That's all I heard.
That's what I made through.
The Wheel of Fortune. Pat just
I don't even think he needs to call back in. I think we get it.
I think we
get it, JR. And I'm here for it.
Yeah. I think we get the gist of
sausage,
all
arm,
of
and cankles, right?
There you go. As we continue to break down the NBA playoffs, what you've liked, what you haven't liked about the playoffs. But Adam Silver was on either the pregame show, I think it was the pregame show with on NBA Countdown, breaking down a lot of different things within the NBA, and he was asked about fixing the All-Star game, and this is what he had to say.
The table. What can you do? How passionate you are. It's an important weekend. What can you do to fix the All-Star game?
So I don't want to overpromise, because I do remember you asked me this last year, and I said,
did.
I got this.
I wasn't going to miss it.
And honestly, my concern about U.S. First International is that we may be just past the point where guys and teams are incentivized to play a competitive All-Star game in the middle of the season. It's just, you could speak to this. It's the nature of the league. And I look back at last year. I mean, honestly, Larry Bird, Julius Erving, others spoke to the players before the game, and I don't think any of them set out thinking we're just not going to play hard. It's just this sort of group dynamic that takes over. And yet I think about, for example, the Steph versus Sabrina shootout last year, which was a highlight of All-Star Weekend. And so my reaction is, it may be we need to play basketball. We have to do something that's a little bit different, frankly, that recognizes this is about entertainment, that people want to see the players put their best foot forward, but it has to be something more than just a game. And even if it were U.S. versus international, because there's just some governor on them from playing all out, just given how long the season is and the risk potentially of injuring them.
So is he saying that we're just going to continue to do what we've been doing from a game standpoint?
No. He's saying he's saying that I think maybe we need to look at the fact that maybe we're past a game. Maybe a game doesn't do what it used to do in the past.
Well, right. Well, I guess what I meant is
he's saying like more events.
Yes. I guess what I meant is we're probably done trying to convince these guys to go all out or go Kobe in the All-Star game.
Yeah, definitely.
We might just not do a game.
Yeah, essentially, that's what I heard from it is essentially that they're going to look at trying, they see the Steph versus Sabrina thing and they say, okay, it's these moments, it's these events that we can create around basketball while you're still participating in versions of the sport. You don't actually, and maybe you could argue, this is what makes basketball such a great just sport in general, is that you can just do shooting drills. You can have a dribbling drill or competitions. You can do knockout or whatever. Right. You can do versions of playing the game while still having fun, while it's still being entertaining, without you having to go full throttle. And I it's something where I don't think the NFL can find a solution. Maybe if they do more of their drills, and we've talked about, having the big men do whatever, they can throw things over a high bar, or can they do a pie eating things like that. I mean, there's ways around actually playing the game. I think the majority of people just want to see the stars having fun, being loose, and doing something amazing, doing the dunk contest. I still think will forever hit. I think maybe figuring out how you can do more Stephen, Sabrina type things. Those are the things that make sense to me, because you're never, and especially, it ties into a conversation we had last week. As these dudes make more and more money, especially when the $70 million contracts become customary, you're not going to get them to play for free for nothing. No. So, there's no way that they can continue to just keep chugging along and proving that the All-Star game is a complete waste of time. They got to do something. And at least Adam Silver is a commissioner that's going out and saying that he's at least going to try. I mean, the NBA, give it its credit, it's at least tried different things in different areas, not the All-Star game, but the in-season tournament, things like that. They have been unafraid to at least try things out. And maybe it doesn't work, but they're willing to adjust at least, and not just going to sit on a terrible game.
Yeah. People also brought up, and this is more so for the accolade portion of it, but the timing of it.
Yes, he even brought it up. He said middle of the season. Like, is it practical anymore to do it in the middle of the season?
Right, but I would say past the practicality is also you're an all-star because of what you've done a couple months into the season.
Right, yeah.
Right? I mean, there are guys that
right?
probably could have been all-stars, and maybe and all-NBA is so tough too, but they're not all-stars because maybe they picked it up after the all-star break, but the all-star game already happened. Yeah. So, I don't know how much people will continue to complain about it. Chris, I was thinking, to be completely honest with you, I really wanted to go to the Giants game in Alabama. Mm-hmm. That didn't end up happening. And then I thought, the Major League Baseball All-Star game is in Texas. That's not too far from California. And the first thing I'm thinking, because I don't know, I've never been to an All-Star weekend, if they sell them in packages or if you could just buy the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game. I would assume maybe both. But off the top of my head, if I'm looking at the different, costs on everything and the different prices, I would just buy the Home Run Derby. Yeah. I don't necessarily need to see, even 100%. Though all the All-Stars will be in the All-Star game, not the Home Run Derby. Yeah. I'd rather go to the Home Run Derby than the All-Star game.
Yeah, no, if anything, I think that and shines basketball, I'd rather go to All-Star Saturday. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think, and that's there's something that the NBA, and not just the NBA, to your point, like all leagues, I think, can take from that I don't think people care about how many different ways or how many different times do people have to show you. They don't care about the actual game itself. Right. It's the fun stuff around it. It's about seeing these dudes in a looser environment. And sometimes it's just about watching dudes hit the ball over the fence as many times as they can. And it really doesn't need to be that difficult. It's just have these guys have fun and stop forcing them to do something that they clearly don't want to do and people clearly don't want to watch. It's people who make a lot more money than us that have to figure out exactly how it's done, but people are telling you how to do it. You just have to figure out what exactly it is that you need to provide.
Coming up next, Brian Windhorst on JJ Redick interviewing for the Lakers gig, and Dan Hurley doing a media tour now. Fair or foul? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
And local. This is Sactown Sports.
Very interesting. I mean, no, Chris, and well, before we get into this Brian Windhorst sound, where really, I'd like to say that both of us won this round of the Lakers game.
Okay.
We'll get into that. And by the way,
we're Woj and Shams.
By the way, 11:45. Okay. Can the Kings take the next step with Harrison Barnes as a starter? We know that you got some things to say as far as Harrison Barnes is concerned. That's at 11:45, 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Very excited for that one. That was a collab effort from one Frankie Cardicelli. Nate
I was going to
well.
say, I didn't really have any part of that, but it got heated in the pre-show.
It got heated in the pre-show.
And that's how you know it's going to be good.
That's
it got
right.
Heated.
How can we do this in a respectful way to the what is he, the accountant for the NBA Players Association?
Treasurer.
The treasurer,
yes.
For the NBA Players Association.
Mr. Three-Piece.
Harrison Barnes. Happy belated birthday. I think it was about a month ago, but happy
it is
belated
Chris
birthday.
Duarte's birthday.
And
Somebody said that earlier.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it actually is. 27.
I was going to
Really?
guess that.
How long has he been in the league?
Not
for?
long.
4 years. This will be his 4th year.
Really?
Yeah.
Not long. But Chris, during the break, when we're calling it, what are we calling this day for the Kings? The Reckoning?
I don't know, but we need to figure something out for it because this is incredible. I mean, I'd forgotten that it went in this order, but yeah, we mentioned the two Dallas games. The first one was on a Tuesday. The second one was on a Friday. I had thought that the games had been separate. I remember that Malik got hurt in the second game very clearly because I remember in the first game he really, really struggled. And then in the second game, right before he gets injured by Luka falling on him, he had this crazy over-the-head shot. And it was like, oh, my gosh, he's not going to have a bad game. The first game on Tuesday, the Kings lost to the Mavericks, and we seriously actually might have just blacked this out of our memory. On this Tuesday, it was the second night of a back-to-back after the Kings had just beaten Philly on Monday. They play in Sacramento again on Tuesday, and they lose to Dallas, and there was a lot of hype around this game leading into it. 96-132. The Kings lost 96
that's insane.
to 132 on that Tuesday.
And Luka was injured.
And Luka, because he had just had, I think they had played in Phoenix the night before.
He was playing less defense than he was last night.
Yes, and still ended up with 28 points. Kyrie had 24 in that one. So in the second game, there was a lot of, all right, guys, we cannot go embarrass ourselves. Like, that was a huge game. It was supposed to be a really big statement game, and you guys lost by pretty much 40 points. We can't have that. And so then Vlade comes. That's the game that Vlade comes to the game. It's also the day that Malik Monk gets hurt. And it's also the very same game in which Dante Exum hits a three with 28 seconds left and pretty much seals it for Dallas. And then Luka hits free throws with 4 seconds left and waves goodbye to Vlade and says he should have drafted me. So that day, the game, the Kings versus Dallas Mavericks on March 29th, 2024 is a cursed game and date. I don't know what we want to title it, but it needs some sort of titling because my goodness.
Yeah, I have The Reckoning. 916-339-1140 text line in the
Gotta
Sack
be
chat.
something that rhymes, right?
Give us a name for that day where Malik goes down, Luka makes fun of everyone, and the Kings basically trick off their playoff chances.
Yes, and then after that, the Kings go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. They go 5 and 6 the rest of the way.
Man,
after that game. So if you want to include those games, they ended the season after beating the Sixers on that Monday. They then go 5 and 8 the rest of the year.
And one of those games was the Blazers game.
From game 72 to game 82.
The crumbling of the Kings.
Well, also, I guess 2 of those are including play-in games. So 4 and 7.
4 and 7, and I would take away the Blazers game.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Actually, yeah. So if you want to take away the Blazer game,
the crumbling of the
Kings crease.
I feel like there's got to be some puns in here. We got to get a rhyme or something, alliteration, some sort of
the uncrowning of the Kings.
The Luka leveling, maybe. I don't know.
The Kings courting.
Well, that's like dating.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of. Yeah,
Luka was
there's
courting.
supposed to be a relationship there.
Yeah,
this is a tough one.
916 says this is from Lawrence. That's the only game I went to this year.
Oh my gosh,
seeing Malik fall was awful. Lawrence, that's brutal.
Don't go to any games next year, Lawrence. Just watch them at home.
Yeah, right.
Just no more curses.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You're not putting this on Lawrence.
No,
don't put this on Lawrence.
No, it's more of a just to be safe.
Lawrence, you need to go to the home opener
or go to all the games. Yeah.
Maybe we can get him in the booth or something.
Yeah, that's a rough one, Lawrence.
That's tough, man. Yeah, that's to watch your season, your favorite team's season, just crumble right in front of your face like a crumble cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to feel it again. I'm starting to feel like the level of excitement in which there was, because like the problem with those 2 set of games too is that we had circled it like a month in advance. Everybody knew for the longest time going into those games that, oh man, Kings and Dallas are going to be around the same seed, and then those, like that game, whoever wins, if you sweep those 2 games in, which is what we talked about leading into it, if you sweep those 2 games, you're putting yourself in a great position to, at the very least, give yourself some leeway to possibly lose.
Catapulted the Mavericks.
It sure did. Yeah, it's exactly what it did for Dallas. We were talking about how that could potentially be for the Kings. And to go from, I mean, in the span of a week, I mean, from Monday through Friday, the ride of, oh my gosh, this could be where we get the vibes of last season back at, better late than never. Never late is better, but you'd much rather take it then, and to have that really be just the stamp that your season was not going to be fun, and oh no, this is your reality. There is no magic switch that's going to get flipped. This is just how it's going to be. Can't imagine a more defining 2 games for the Kings season than those.
From Brian Star Vids on Sack Chat, Luka Palooza, absolutely not. Brian. All right, here we go.
It was festival.
Here we go. From the 925 guys, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Luka Geddon. Like Armageddon. Luka Geddon.
Yeah, no, I got it. I definitely got it.
I don't mind it.
I don't
mind
How is
it.
Luka and Arma?
I'm seeing Luka Palooza in the Sack Chat.
I just said that name.
Literally just said it.
I like it though.
No.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fun. It wasn't fun. the Mavericks should call it Luka Palooza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
That's their revenge
This was
tour.
not a good thing for the Kings though.
Yes, which is why Palooza doesn't work. Which is why there was nothing wild, wacky, or zany about it.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a Luka Palooza.
It was a little zany.
It was terrible.
It was horrible.
It was terrible. Coming up next,
Luka Bazooka.
Oh, that's better.
It's better.
That's
because
better.
he blew us away.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he blew us up.
Yeah.
He did. He did kind of, yeah.
He came in there.
He came in there with his RPG and blasted the Kings. He said, "Oh,
I'll never
this place
forget.
could have
I'll
been
never
fun."
forget looking at Luka as he's walking back to the bench, saying, "He should have drafted me. He should have drafted me." That is nasty work, and probably some of his most underrated
psycho
trash
stuff for
talk
sure. Oh,
on
yeah.
the season because it was in Sacramento.
Yeah. No,
so I don't know if
that's
national.
S-tier.
Yes, I don't know if it's very niche.
Yes.
But if you know
it hits,
you know that
Yes.
one hit.
Yes.
That one, if you got off of work and you came home, well, first of all, you saw no beam, so you knew the Kings didn't win. And then you got to fire up the highlights and see that from Luka.
Yeah.
That one sunk, especially that kid. Remember that kid? It's been going around social media who was clapping when Marvin Bagley gets drafted.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I didn't want Luka.
Yeah.
I wonder if he saw that. I hope he's doing okay.
I think there were a lot of people like that. I was at the draft thing. It was.
Oh, but this
weird.
this has gone. This kid went viral on Twitter for saying he didn't want Luke, and he was super juiced.
Yeah.
Frankie has a video that's pretty great. I think Frankie might have been like in the Kings offices when they won the lottery, and it looks like a Wall Street place just like, hit big on one of their stocks.
I might need that.
It looks hilarious. I don't know if he's still out there or not.
530, the Luka Golden Corral game. Okay.
Hey, no, remember he was spotted at Golden Corral in between those two games. Wow.
Wait, but Mark Jones said it.
Yeah,
but we
it wasn't
didn't know
true.
if it was true.
It wasn't true. It was just something that a random.
Well, maybe the Kings should have been eating at Golden Corral. How about that?
Come on.
With Wood Fork.
Yeah, Golden Wood Fork. Man.
It's not the best area. It's next to my house.
Okay, all right. Nate. Coming up next, the Lakers continue their search for a coach. We will see what Brian Windhorst had to say, and he's not at Golden Corral. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into three. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Father's Day at Hagen Oaks is sure to bring a smile to the man in your life. From shoes to shirts, from golf balls to golf bags, and from drivers to divot repair tools, Hagen Oaks has all this and so much more, including gift certificates for the father who has it all. Let Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop be your one-stop for all your Father's Day needs. You'll even find the wildly popular Golf and Guitars concert tickets on sale. It's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway, or HagenOaks.com.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Get ready to fuel your spirit of adventure with Kia Vacaville Summer Sticker Sales Event. It's time to crank up the excitement. Calling all thrill seekers. Are you ready for an adrenaline-packed journey? Introducing the Kia Telluride, the ultimate companion for your next adventure. Picture this: blazing trails through uncharted territories, conquering the wild with the power and precision of the Kia Telluride. With Kia Vacaville, you can join the expedition and experience the thrill of off-road exploration like never before. With its rugged design and cutting-edge features, the Kia Telluride is your passport to unforgettable adventures. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Head to Kia Vacaville today and gear up for the adventure of a lifetime during their summer sticker sales event. Your adventure starts now. Kia Vacaville, where every journey is an adventure. Visit Kia Vacaville today. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia Vacaville for more details.
Father's Day at Hagen Oaks is sure to bring a smile to the man in your life. From shoes to shirts, from golf balls to golf bags, and from drivers to divot repair tools, Hagen Oaks has all this and so much more, including gift certificates for the father who has it all. Let Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop be your one-stop for all your Father's Day needs. You'll even find the wildly popular Golf and Guitars concert tickets on sale. It's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway, or HagenOaks.com.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirk Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Bonnie. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
It's Dasha, hit your boots, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club and Xfinity.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
15 minutes. We answer the question, can the Kings take the next step with Harrison Barnes as a starter? I'll be honest with you. I'm torn on this. I know Chris is torn on it too. That's in 15 minutes.
Real torn.
Your thoughts as well. Harrison Barnes. We talk so much about him, what he can be, what he hasn't been. Does he have to be removed from the starting lineup for the Kings to take the next step? That's in 15 minutes. But now we get to Brian Windhorst, who I called Brandon in the last segment. And he has some things to say.
Worse.
Yes, I'm sure. He has some things to say about J.J. Redick interviewing for the Lakers. Yeah, this is what he said.
Anytime you hire a first-time head coach, you're admitting that you're going to go through a learning curve. But obviously the Lakers have done a lot of research. And frankly, his interviews have been in those podcasts with LeBron James. They've extensively broken down the Lakers' offense, extensively broken down what they do. It's been out there for the whole world to hear, including from the Lakers front office.
That is hilarious. I just imagine like executives just like watching hey, let's have a group watch party of LeBron and JJ's. Oh, guys, new episode just dropped.
Right.
They're going to talk about our defensive sets this time. What are we doing?
You know who needs to follow this model, since he wants everybody to subscribe to his pod, is Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly needs to get Doc on his pod. And then everybody would subscribe to his podcast.
Yeah, or maybe just start entering the head coaching cycle himself.
That's right.
Get people to, you want to hear my philosophy?
Yeah.
It's all on the pod, man.
Yeah. You subscribe to my podcast.
Exactly.
Excuse me, miss. Excuse me.
What's my resume? Here's a link to, here's the QR code to my pod.
Yeah. Episode 2.
Crazy.
Speaking of podcasts, before we get into the JJ Redick situation, I saw, Chris, your boy Steph Curry.
Okay.
And I believe the whole podcast is out now, and that was pretty quick. This was from Mark J. Spears a couple days ago. Unanimous Media will debut Heat Check, a new Audible podcast hosted by Steph Curry and Del Curry. That came out. They all came out today, actually. The podcast will pull back, these are in quotes, pull back the curtain on their family's journey, told through the lens of a father and son, while talking about the biggest names throughout NBA history. There's some great pictures of them in the studio. Chris, are you intrigued?
I hate the fact that his media company is called Unanimous Media.
Why?
That drives me insane. I just just absolutely terrible. Whoever that, I can't remember. I think it was a Boston writer who didn't vote for Shaq when he should have been unanimous MVP in 2000. Just know I hate you because you've caused this to be part of Steph's brand. What do I think of the podcast? I mean, it's going to be another one. That's for sure. It's just going to be
all right.
What you're expecting any sort of wonderful insight to come out of this? There's no way Steph and his dad are going to be. I'm sure it's going to be like 80% golf talk.
Where's Seth?
I'm sure he's wondering the same thing. I'm sure he's like, yeah, Seth, you can be the producer. You can, maybe if we need a third voice, if we get your sister on too, it could be a family thing. But
maybe
I had to leave Seth out
though,
so that the sister wouldn't feel bad.
Maybe he said no.
Maybe you're right. Maybe Seth has better things.
Low-key.
Yeah, he can be the AJ Hawk of the situation where it's sure, Seth has better things going on than this $1 million operation we have going on here.
Seth, I'm just chilling. That'll come out, and I'm sure Chris will listen to it.
I sure won't.
Just like he does the Mind Game, the Mind Game pod. And speaking of the Mind Game pod, JJ Redick, JJ Redick now is back, Chris, and Shams taking some victory laps on this whole situation on Woj's network, by the way. Pat McAfee flexing his muscle. And I would say at this point in time, I know other names are still in the mix, but I don't know, Chris. It just feels like it's going to go into the direction of JJ Redick, but I know there are still other names out there.
Yeah, no, I think I saw today actually that James Borrego has now became the favorite to land the Cleveland job. So, if he gets that, there's not really many other names besides besides JJ that have been linked to the Lakers job. So I would imagine if he wants it, it's his. The question, I guess, still becomes, does it, like, I just still don't know if this makes sense for JJ. Like, I think, as crazy as it is to say, is being a podcast, like the gig that JJ has, podcasting, doing a game a week, maybe 2 games a week, and making, I mean, I don't know, JJ makes at least like $4 to $5 million, at least $4 to $5 million off of ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
And if he sells his media company at some point, he could sell that for multiple tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions. I would think that honestly, being a podcaster is kind of the more lucrative and stress-free business these days. You know, I get maybe that you could argue you could put all that stuff aside and it's not going to go anywhere after you're the Lakers coach, and maybe this Lakers coach opportunity never presents itself. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess it really comes down to how bad does he want to be a coach, because I just don't think that the Lakers are going to pay him top dollar. I mean, we just saw that they weren't willing to pay Dan Hurley, a guy who's ultimately qualified. They weren't willing to shell out what he would want. Something tells me that JJ, who's never even been an assistant coach and is just hopping into this situation, and the Lakers could reasonably tell him, hey, you know, we're doing you a lot more favors than you're doing us because we're giving you an opportunity that you probably shouldn't have. We're going to pay you less. I just kind of think if I'm JJ, I'm looking at it, and yes, it's a fantastic once in a lifetime opportunity, but I wouldn't be too pressed about what I got going. You know, what I got going on right now is pretty cool if I'm JJ.
Yeah, I was trying to find, and it's funny how certain numbers came out. I remember Mina Kimes' number came out, but I couldn't find JJ's number. He got a 3-year extension. That was in 2022. Really? So yeah, I was really torn on, if I'm JJ, what makes the most sense. So for me, I think JJ really does love the game. I think that's clear. And in his estimation, being a coach is the next step.
Yeah.
And we just never know, right? When JJ got into media, and as we talked about, you know, progress being linear.
Yeah.
Did he get into media thinking that it could help him for a coaching gig? Did he get into media and then realize that he wanted to be a coach? Who knows? But I mean, once you're even, we talk about the coaching carousel, Chris, would you even say that you're part of the carousel in some capacity if you've gotten interviews? So like if JJ doesn't get the Laker gig next season, if he's still interested, he could continue doing what he's doing, not be a coach at all.
Yeah.
And somebody will say, well, the Lakers were interested in JJ.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever fires someone or fires their coach next season, they'll probably at least kick the tires on JJ. He's in now.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely an interview carousel as well. Yeah, like, I mean, Charles Lee, before he ended up, I think he got the Charlotte job. Before he was that, he was in the Kings interviews. He was in the Laker interviews. Yeah, I mean, pretty much all the people that the Kings interviewed for the Mike Brown coach opening, when Mike Brown eventually got it, the Lakers pretty much had every single one of those same coaches in there as well. There's different carousels 100%. And yeah, I mean, yeah, JJ, if he wants to become a coach, which, you know, he did interview for that same Charlotte job as well. I think he interviewed for a job last season as well. Might have been with the Hawks or something like that. If he wants to be a coach, he will get the interviews, and probably at some point here, sooner rather than later, someone will give him the job. I just really don't believe, unless that's if that is your goal, if that's your dream, go ahead and make it happen. But if you're looking for, is this the better job? Is this, hey, this is a step up, actually? I just don't know if that is these days.
Well,
like, especially with JJ owning his own, like, media company. If, you know, he's got a podcast with, I think the podcast is technically on LeBron's network, but I'm sure he has some sort of stake in that.
He ain't doing it for free.
Exactly. Like, you can sell that off and make plenty of money and be very comfortable and not have the stress of trying to figure out. It might, and that's my point, is if you want to be a coach, you can be a coach. But if you're looking for truly where you're going to be happiest and be able to be involved, and I know JJ loves his kids and is, you know, the reason why he wants to be a coach, or he turned down coaching to go coach his kids at one point. You know, if you want to be in your family's lives, you can't be a head coach. You cannot be a professional basketball coach.
Yeah, and if you're JJ
and you do want to be a head coach, it's now. I would say
I would think so.
Because I'm taking the Lakers and I'm taking LeBron because it's boom or bust.
Right.
I don't want to say no, and then I got to go to, I'm not going to bag on any cities, but somewhere that is less desirable than Los Angeles. So I would say if it's out there for you, JJ, strike while the iron's hot. Coming up next, it is time. We are having the conversation. Harrison Barnes. Does he have to be removed from the starting lineup in some capacity, whether that's not on the team anymore or just as a bench player now for the Kings to take the next step? Your calls, your texts, your Sack Chat. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com. Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Harrison Barnes into trades and just assuming that he's not going to be on this team. And I don't think it goes without saying that Harrison Barnes was recently extended going into last season. And he's a starter on this team. And he was never benched, okay? Kevin Huerter was benched. Other guys were benched. Harrison Barnes was never benched. Now, he may not have played as much as a starter would typically play, but he was never benched. And Mike Brown, he hit you with the Nick Saban. I'm not doing it, so stop asking, okay? And people stopped asking, media, Chris, myself. We stopped asking about, hey, would you ever consider benching Harrison Barnes? But with that being said, all of the Kings fans assume that Harrison Barnes is going to be gone. But is that something that needs to happen in order for the Kings to take the next step? Now, does he have to be gone? Can he be on the team and be on the bench? Do you want to pay a bench player that type of money? Is there a world where Harrison Barnes can remain a starter and the Kings take the next step this upcoming season? Chris Watkins, what is your answer?
I just believe that, I mean, I'm sure there is a world, but I just think that if the Kings want to be serious about just leaving no doubt, especially more so before games are even played, that these guys are serious about taking a leap, to me, it's almost like a symbol of it. Like, I just think that to me is, I think Kevin Huerter can survive and be on a late round playoff team. I just don't think that where Harrison Barnes is at in his career right now, I can't see it. I can't see him being the more so in the forward sense, the Robin to Keegan's Batman. I think that you have to get a better player than that at that 4 spot. When you look at the collection of just all the teams that have their that have been late round playoffs and their starting fives, to me, Harrison Barnes is probably in the bottom of bottom tiers of all of those guys. If you can come up with everybody's worst starter, it feels like Harrison would probably be in the bottom of a lot of those lists. And I just think that, to me, is the most obvious place where this team can take a massive, massive leap. And there's players, I think the other side of this is the players that are available via trade right now are all those players at that, the Brandon Ingrams, the Kyle Kuzma, even Jeremy Grant, even Mikal Bridges, the list goes on. Those are the forwards that the Kings need to be trying to address trying to get, because that, to me, fixes this team's, or at least gets them closer to being to a place where I think they want to be. And, I'm sure, like I said, I think they can maybe figure it out. But I honestly, if it's a yes or no, I'm saying that, yes, they have to replace him. Replace that starting spot. I think he can be on the team.
Would you? Okay, so you think that they would be okay paying?
Wouldn't be ideal. It wouldn't be ideal.
That price tag for somebody that sits on the bench. And hey, they're worse misses to have.
Yeah.
There are teams paying coaches that are no longer coaching their teams.
Sure.
There are teams paying contracts to guys that are no longer on their team.
Right.
So we've seen all that before. I'll put it to you like this. It's not that it's impossible, but obviously Kevin Huerter, you would need to upgrade. You would have to cover him. You'd have to hide him, right? You're essentially hiding Harrison Barnes, and I don't think it's worth hiding him.
Yeah.
And what is it going to cost you to hide Harrison Barnes? You know what I'm going to say. It's going to cost you Kevin Huerter, of course, and it'll probably cost you Keegan Murray to bring somebody in that will allow you. You would need 2 players to hide Harrison Barnes, and I just don't think it's worth it. So I don't think that it's impossible, but to get there, I don't think anybody would be on board to do that, right? If you got DeJounte Murray and I don't know, a 3, you get a 3 back because you say Keegan Murray is no longer untouchable, and your lineup is De'Aaron Fox, DeJounte Murray, a high-level 3. Maybe you're able to get Mikal Bridges could maybe play the 3, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have Harrison Barnes and Sabonis. Yeah, that would be great, but number 1, I don't think that's probably possible. Number 2, you'd have no first-round draft picks. Like we said, Rain Fox would be your next first-round draft pick, and Keegan Murray would be gone. Mm-hmm. So it's not that I think it's impossible. I just think it's improbable.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would make sense. As much as we all like Harrison Barnes, I don't think there's any reason to do backflips and somersaults like Joe Mazzulla to make it work.
Yeah. I also want to say, too, I think – again, Harrison Barnes, I believe, could stay on the team and be a bench player. And I do think that, and maybe this is just hope, but I think that there could be a solution to his biggest problem by coming off the bench, because Harrison's biggest problem, in my opinion, is his lack of aggressiveness, his lack of aggression, his lack of urgency. Well, nothing adds urgency like you're coming off the bench and there's no guarantee you're going to get a second run. You need to have impact in this first stint to make me want to put you in the second rotation. And so, maybe you start to see a little bit more of Harrison Barnes saying, hey, I'm not playing right now with De'Aaron and Keegan and Sabonis and Monk and Huerter or a combination of those guys. It's me, and it's maybe 1, maybe 2 of those guys. I have to step it up. And it's almost going to be out of necessity. It's almost going to be forcing him to do it. And if he's still not aggressive, if he still kind of has these moments of fading away, then that's when it's really a conversation of $18 million for this guy to come off the bench is just unacceptable. If he's not going to be a productive bench player either, then it starts to get to a conversation of not is this guy's career over, but what is his value anymore?
Yeah.
If he's making $18 million and is falling away or fading to nothingness as a starter, and then you bring him off the bench and he can't figure out that role either. Well, what are you supposed to do? Give him Luka usage for what are you supposed to do in order to make Harrison Barnes a I don't want to say a worthwhile player, but live up to his contract is what I would say.
Do you, and I know that he's already been in trade talks, but in a perfect world, if you're Monty McNair, there never has to be a conversation with Harrison about coming off the bench because he gets moved this summer, right? Because if he doesn't get moved this summer, but you do get a 4, right? You do get a 4. Do you come off top and say, Harrison, and this is also a Mike Brown decision, Harrison, we brought in this 4. We did the deal with Kevin Huerter and a bunch of picks, so we were able to hold on to you, but we're going to go with them to start. Do you give him, hey, Harrison, we're going to start you, and then have a conversation with Mike Brown and say, hey, this whole idea, I know it's your team, so I don't want to overstep, but this idea of Harrison Barnes as a starter, I think it goes without saying if we did upgrade that position, so we should be open to this. I don't
think that's a question.
Well, but
if you trade for Kyle Kuzma's not coming off the bench. Harrison's moving to the bench. I don't even think. I don't even think.
I just know that, and I just know that Mike Brown, he was just so adamant.
Yeah,
I think
that leads to the fact that nobody's earning that spot.
But he didn't even play with the idea of, hey, and I know Trey, talked about Trey's season, but I guess Trey never really even had a stretch.
Yeah, you can't let people win things by default, especially not in the NBA.
Or Mike doesn't operate. I'm not just going to try someone out, even though Harrison's playing not as well as we'd like.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to try someone out unless that other player has been balling out, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, no, it didn't happen. I think it's a clear talent upgrade if you're bringing in whoever, Jeremy Grant, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram. I don't even know if there needs to be. I mean, you obviously are going to have a conversation with him, but he would know what it is, I would hope, at that point. And, I haven't been Harrison's biggest supporter here, but I'm going to again say, I think he can be useful. I don't think you should just automatically throw him into the trade. The only reason why I think it's more likely than not that he gets traded is because he makes $18 million and it's just a big contract number that the Kings can throw. But as a player, again, I talked about it yesterday, it would be nice if the Kings could keep Harrison and then have him as an additive length. He's not himself somebody that you would say, oh yeah, that's a Jaden McDaniels type length guy. But if you have him on top of having Kyle Kuzma, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Trey Lyles on top of that, if you have depth, then that makes it a little bit more impactful. You feel it more because it's additive instead of this is what we got, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, I think the conversation would be, and I know it's a wing driven league, but the conversation could become and I think you threw him in one of the deals in your monster trade, but the conversation would start to happen around Trey Lyles. I think that's what would happen. I know Trey doesn't make as much money, but you're just looking at assets that other teams would want. I mean, Trey Lyles is a bit younger than Harrison Barnes.
Well, Sasha
as well. So I think everybody is going to be on the table. And to your point about wanting the current season to finally end so we can get to this, it's not just the Kings. All these teams have so many decisions to make, and there are so many. I mean, if you look at branches on a tree, there's so many different directions that the Kings could go to get where they want to go. And I just wanted to kind of address the idea that everyone just thinks Harrison Barnes is out the door, and I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's all based on what other teams want. We've talked about why would the Pelicans want Harrison Barnes?
Right. I can figure out what a team would do with Kevin Huerter pretty easily.
Yes.
But Harrison Barnes is kind of a bit of a round peg in a square hole.
Right. I mean, when you talk about Brandon Ingram, I don't know why the Pelicans would want Harrison Barnes. I could convince myself as to why the Wizards, and it's not even a want. It's we can make this work.
Yeah.
I could figure out why the Wizards might want a Harrison Barnes. Hey, keep these kids in line. Denny Avdia, some of these guys that are coming down the pipe, get them on the straight and narrow. Jordan Poole, obviously, but that is a big part of this. So when you fire up the trade generator, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying that I don't do this as well. When you fire up the trade generator, you also have to think. You also have to put yourself into the other team's shoes. Why would I want this player? Yes, it works in the trade generator, but why would the Pelicans want Harrison Barnes when they have too many wings? That's why they're getting rid of somebody who's younger and better as a wing than Harrison Barnes and Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, no, and they still have young guys that they want to play, like Jordan Hawkins, and it takes two to tango in trades, and I think that's definitely something people forget about all the time. Is that like you said, it's got to be worthwhile for both sides, and there's also a PR element of this too that I talk about where. If Harrison Barnes is the shining object that you're trying to sell your fan, but hey, Kyle Kuzma that we were, he gave up being on this championship Mavericks team because he wanted to build something here. He said he actually wanted to stay in why do I want to call it Wisconsin? Yeah. Washington, not Wisconsin. Here's Harrison Barnes. Here is a guy that we replaced this dude who wanted to be here with a 31-year-old veteran who nobody's excited about. That's a tough
Kevin
sell
Huerter
job.
homecoming.
Yeah, and a Kevin Huerter. That's probably what they would honestly sell it most as. And, maybe Davion being a young point guard or something like that. But it's part of. There's PR element. There's just lots of layers. There's lots and lots of layers of it.
Coming up next, the Sactown Sports mock draft roundup. We break that down, written by our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. You don't want to miss it. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey, have you heard the amazing news from Boost Mobile? When you switch to Boost, you get 4 lines for $100, plus 4 free 5G devices, like the Samsung Galaxy A15 or the Moto G Stylus 5G. That's 4 lines for $100. Need another reason to switch? Boost offers high-speed data at low prices with no annual contracts and no credit checks. Switching is easy. Just head over to your local Boost Mobile store. New customers in select markets only. Requires porting and ID verification. Other restrictions apply. See participating dealers for details.
Still looking for the perfect Father's Day gift? Check out Macy's Gift Finder. It's easy. In just a couple clicks, you'll find personalized gift ideas from top brands that are perfect for every dad, like the adventure seeker, the sports fan, or even the grandpa. Plus, Macy's has great gifts for every budget, so you can go as big or small as you want. Find the Father's Day gift that says, I love your style on Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
NBA basketball returns to Golden One Center this July 6th, 7th, and 9th for the California Classic Summer League games. 3-day passes in the lower level start at just $66 and include access to all 6 games. See your Sacramento Kings as they host the San Antonio Spurs and Charlotte Hornets, featuring newly drafted rookies, NBA sophomores, and other athletes competing to make NBA rosters. Visit kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports.
I'm Nate Littlefield, and this is your U.S. Open update. In first place at 5 under, Patrick Cantlay is leading the charge. In number 2, you have Ludwig Oberg at 4 under, and Matthew Pavon at 3 under. Fourth place, Tony Finau, 2 under. And then when you get to 5th, it gets a little interesting. There's a 15-way tie. Everybody's at 1 under. Some of those notable names are Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau. This update's brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's always about quality and where it's all about choices and always about quality. Let's get back to Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
It's 12 o'clock, so you know it's time for that draft talk. And in about 15 minutes, we will discuss if, honestly, all of this is for naught based on who the Kings have been working out, whether or not they'll even keep the pick. But we do have a mock draft roundup by Frankie Cardicelli, the Sactown Sports Kings insider, one of the Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Frankie, great stuff. As always, be sure to follow him on social media. And Chris, I know you were breaking this down earlier. What were your initial thoughts, and can you take the good people through the roundup?
Yeah, my first initial thought is there's different names for literally every mock draft. And so definitely there's a sense of, I mean, I get it, especially because the Kings are picking in the middle. It's kind of like, it's a little representative of, we don't really know what's happening up top either. And so since we don't know what's happening up top, there's just kind of chaos throughout all the mock drafts. People have ranges in which I think we are assuming people are going to go, but in terms of locking down actual position and trying to figure out what teams are looking for, it seems like there is just, you have as good of a guess as I do and anybody else in terms of what the Kings are prioritizing here, because it's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess of a mock draft or of mock drafts here. And we'll go through it via SactownSports.com, ESPN, and we've gone through a majority of these before already. ESPN has Jared McCain as the Kings selection at number 13, mainly citing Malik Monk and his potential departure. And Jonathan Givony had a nice write-up about that. CBS.com has, as we discussed the other day, Kentucky taking Rob Dillingham at number 13. I think this is a little bit of a more rare opinion, because I don't think a lot of people even have Rob Dillingham falling that far. If he does, I do think it makes a lot of sense for the Kings, but in terms of him falling, I have a tough time seeing it. Cody Williams is the Bleacher Report selection. I really like that, but honestly, that's kind of the anomaly here, as we've talked about a lot in pretty much all of these mock drafts. Not a lot of people are saying the Kings should take a forward. And I wonder if that is just the simplicity of, oh no, like they have a Harrison Barnes there, and I don't necessarily think Cody Williams is 100% going to replace Harrison Barnes. Right. So if you're going to draft a forward who's not a starter, what's the difference between taking a forward who's not a starter versus a guard who's not a starter? So I guess I'm kind of starting to see the picture that everyone is trying to paint, but I just kind of don't agree with it. I think that the Kings should lean more towards forward. And as I say that, the rest are guards. The Ringer has the Kings taking your guy, Dalton Connect, which I think a lot of people would be super excited by, just the offensive spark and potential of him. USA Today has them taking Devin Carter. It's starting to seem like that's not even going to be a possibility. He's going way before 13.
Oh, there's one non-guard. Keep going.
We'll see. Oh, I didn't scroll far enough. NBA Draft.net has the Kings taking Jacoby Walter, which was like the runaway pick at the beginning of this process, and now all of a sudden is nowhere near the Kings selection. Seems like Jacoby's going before the Kings, if not just not to the Kings. That's on NBA Draft.net, and then Tankathon, everyone's favorite website, and now Alan's favorite website, because they have Kings selecting forward Tejan Selon, which is the only mock draft that I have seen.
The only one that matters. He shows awesome flashes of perimeter skills and can play like a jumbo wing, bringing the ball up the court and splashing three-pointers. Impressive skills for a 6'10 teenager. He instantly passes the eye test when you see him on the court. And it's rare to see a 6'10 player with his level of movement, skills, and athleticism.
Wow. Yeah. And so again, that is how many different mock drafts is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different mock drafts, 7 different players, and really 7 different types of players too. I mean, you could argue Jacoby Walter and Devin Carter are a little bit of the same, but Jared McCain is pretty much like a shooter. He's known to be the best shooter in this draft. If he can do some things with the ball in his hands, I think that's a bonus. Rob Dillingham is a lot like Malik Monk. Not really many people like that. You can argue maybe Dalton Connect is kind of similar, but he, not to just do the stupid thing, but he's a little more Tyler Hero than he is Malik Monk. He just kind of gets it done in a little bit different way. He's a little bit more of a shooter and definitely somebody who uses the perimeter a little bit more, where Rob Dillingham is a little bit more herky-jerky and trying to get you off balance and then can just hit shots from just about anywhere. But it's just a really, really weird season. I can't remember a time in which, even up top, we just have no idea what direction people are going. And I still, we're 2 weeks out here, I still don't really know where the Kings are leaning towards this, including are they going to make the pick at all? I still don't think we've gotten much closer to figuring out. I think a lot of people with sources have said they don't think that the Kings are going to make this pick, but in terms of their actions, not really much, unless, I know you have a little note here, but there haven't been many actions that say that the Kings are necessarily trying actively to move from 13.
All I care about is Tankathon. That's all I care about. And honestly, I've already come to grips with the fact that the Kings probably won't take him just because of his age, and I don't know if he's necessarily too raw, but I don't know if he is a Monty McNair guy, but I would love for him to be a Monty McNair guy. At the same time, the whole guard obsession, and I see Esteban on the text line saying, I don't know how much these people watched, if they're saying they take, the Kings should take a guard.
basically you're saying Malik Monk is out, but you're also saying that Keon Ellis, Davion Mitchell, and to a lesser degree, Kobe Jones, that collection isn't good enough, or you aren't aware of that collection. Yeah. But to be fair, I don't know if that collection is good enough either.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's fair. It's more of just, I would just present the question of like, I mean, does that mean that they should pile on? You know, if you don't know the answer to Keon Ellis or Colby Jones, does that mean that you should just add another person to that mix, or should you try and figure that problem out?
Just like the Niners, just get a bunch of receivers.
Why not? Yeah, just get a bunch of guards, right? One of them.
This is a great question, Chris, from the 916. Realistically, will the quote unquote best guard in the draft make the rotation on this team right now? No clue. I think you would. This is supposed to be a bad draft.
This is also the problem of like, who's the best guard in the draft? Is it Reed Shepherd? I guess. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think Reed Shepherd day one starts over Kevin Huerter, right?
No,
not day one.
Not day one.
And that's really all we can account for right now. Like, who knows how they're going to do during the season, but just like in terms of, are they truly plug and play? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Or we can make this even more realistic and say, what are the chances that the guard that the Kings take cracks the rotation this season, which would mean that this guard is better than Davion Mitchell, or I guess they could be the backup for Kevin Huerter or Kevin Huerter's replacement.
Yeah. But I would think Keon played well enough, like in actual games, to like at least throughout training camp get the nod.
Why put yourself in this situation when you're starving, you're begging for another wing?
Yeah.
Why? I just don't know why the Kings would put themselves into this situation.
I completely agree. And I'm looking at it here. I know we have that list of this is from on Twitter, Daily Sabonis. Shout out Daily Sabonis tweeted this out of essentially a list of the players that the Kings have had to work out or worked out here in Sacramento. And the problem is there is I should have counted this beforehand. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys who are even mocked in the top 60. And they've had probably just eyeballing this list, 15 to probably 20-ish people are on this list, and only 7 of them, it might even be 25 on this list, and only 7 of them are even mocked in the first 2 rounds. Is that concerning? Is that maybe, as I was kind of alluding to earlier, is that a sign that possibly the Kings aren't really looking to make that 13th pick? Because, you know, I'm even looking at the list of people that they had in 23 and the people that they worked out in 2022 when they drafted Keegan Murray. There's not a lot of I mean, they had maybe in the Keegan Murray draft where they had the 4th pick, they worked out Keegan. They worked out Jeremy Sohan, who ended up being a top pick. And besides that, really, that I'm seeing, they really didn't work out anybody else in that range. Maybe this is more just a thing that the Kings do. You know, there's some guys that they like to bring in and work out, and maybe there's also an element of there could be tons of guys that we just don't know. Like not everything is public. It's been tough to even get the names that we've seen out that the Kings have brought in, but it could be a sense of, hey, they bring guys in behind closed doors, and maybe they are talking to more people than we think. But if you're just looking at it on face value, the names that we do know and we have seen reported working out in Sacramento, it can maybe drive you to believe that the Kings actually have no intention of making this 13th pick.
And we discuss that when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Get ready for the Kia Vacaville Summer Sticker Sales Event. This is your chance to make it a summer to remember with incredible deals on select 2024 Sportage and Sorrento vehicles. Kia of Vacaville is offering an amazing 1.9% APR for up to 48 months for well-qualified buyers. Or you'll get $1,000 bonus cash on specialty tag 2024 Sportage and Sorrento models. It's the perfect time to upgrade your ride and start your summer adventures. Imagine cruising down the highway in your new Kia from Kia of Vacaville, enjoying the advanced features and comfort of the Sportage or Sorrento. Whether you're planning a road trip or just driving around town, these vehicles are designed to elevate your experience. But don't wait too long. These unbeatable deals won't last forever. Your adventure starts now at Kia Vacaville, where every journey is an adventure. Visit them today and find the perfect vehicle for your summer plans. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia Vacaville for more details.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We have, I don't know that we would call it breaking news, but we definitely have an update, and it came out about 9 minutes ago from Sean Cunningham when you discuss Sasha Vezenkov. This is from Sean Cunningham of Fox 40, and Sean says, while Sasha Vezenkov remains frustrated with the lack of playing time in his first NBA season with the Kings, I'm told by several sources that there is no truth to the report of his desire to leave the NBA. One source close to Vezenkov called the report off base and that he will honor his contract. I've also been told the Kings want to keep him, but there's also a market for him. Sacramento, or perhaps another team that offers a larger rotational role, remains to be seen. That just dropped on a Thursday. Sean Cunningham fully plugged in on what's going on with the Sacramento Kings. Chris, your initial thoughts on this report, about the report from Sean?
Yeah, I mean, first off, it's definitely I don't want to say surprising, but a little bit shocking for sure, especially just kind of the time in which we had the initial report versus I'm sure Sean has just been spending his time trying to confirm some piece of this. And clearly, I mean, he reached out to multiple different people who gave him pretty consistent answers. You know, I'm not surprised because of there's no truth to his desire to want to leave the NBA. That makes a lot of sense to me. I thought it would be a little bit, I don't want to say cowardice, but for Sasha to make the big move and then to essentially give up on the dream after one season kind of always felt a little far-fetched. But, you know, yeah, I mean, to me, this seems like, you know, maybe a situation where, you know, maybe the information isn't necessarily wrong, but or I'm not saying the information's a lie that was initially reported, but maybe it was just somebody who was speaking a little bit out of turn and maybe was making a mountain out of a molehill or trying to maybe win via press. It's a really weird story, and it seems to get weirder. I still think the Kings are going to look to ship him off. That last paragraph you read off, I've also been told the Kings want to keep him, but there's also a market for him. I still think that's just the plan, and it kind of massages a little bit of the PR. I'm sure if the Kings would have initiated this report in the first place, they probably would have, again, said the Kings and Sasha, or the Kings will explore finding a better home for Sasha, but there's no urgency to trade him. That's really how I'm going to operate with this story moving forward. Is just, I mean, Sasha is more than likely gone, but they're not going to just, it's not going to be a salary dump. They're not just going to get rid of him to get rid of him. And I'm very glad to see that, at least from what Sean's hearing, there's also a market for Sasha, because there was a lot of people who were questioning if Sasha had any value at all. And that just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, a 28-year-old, he's right in his prime, still getting used to being in this country, being in this league. And he didn't really get the longest runway to get used to things, right? He went to a team that believed that they were a contender when they got Sasha. They had just re-signed 2 other wings, right? So it wasn't the best situation for Sasha. I don't know that the Kings fully knew what they wanted from Sasha, and then he gets injured. So it was a snowball of things. But for this to come out now, I don't know if it's damage control. We initially talked about whether or not it was Sasha hustling backwards. That's not how you do business out here. I don't think it was a great look. Whoever leaked that information, I hope they got what they wanted out of it, right? And really, it was just that Euro Hoops account, so it was really unnamed in a way. Everybody saw the report, tried their best to confirm it, and other people started talking about it as well, but it made absolutely no sense. I mean, if you're Sasha and you're a competitor and you're an athlete at the highest level, you want to give yourself a chance to really do something in this league. If you, Chris, I'll put it to you like this, and I'm going to pull the curtain back, right? I moved my family out here. Yeah. And this was just moving from the Bay to Sacramento. Right. It would be kind of crazy to give up after 6 months or a year or whatever. After I tried. That was hard. That was hard. That was tough. That was hard. Now I'm just going to go back.
Make it easy again.
You're at least going to give yourself some time to see if this thing is going to work out. And I think it's the same thing with Sasha. After all that, and I'm not going Karl Anthony Towns here, I promise you, to not just move from the Bay to Sacramento, to move across the world, right? And uproot your family and uproot everything about your life. It made absolutely no sense. We were just riding with the reports, but on its face, it made no sense. You have no leverage. Nobody knows who you are in this league. And now you're going to say, I'm out of here. Yeah. And then there were reports that the Kings had said, you're out of here, or we're not going to consider you in our future plans. So none of it really ever made sense, but everyone continued to say it was true. And now you have Sean saying there's no truth to the report. So now I'm pretty sure we will get a report to the report to the report to the report.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure this is not the end of the Sasha saga. I still do think that in the exit interviews, they probably did say, like, yeah, if there's an opportunity that arises that makes sense for you, we'll definitely look into it. And if it makes sense for us as well, we'll do it. I think that there probably is I just don't think it's a priority for them. Right. I think if a deal materializes, if they can involve him in a trade that they were already planning to do, I think it's more just he's going to be nudged to be that player. They're going to nudge to be, hey, this guy isn't happy with our situation. Maybe can you do us a little bit of a solid and take him as a part of the package? And even that's kind of selling Sasha short. Like, he isn't just a throw-in. He is really somebody who it's kind of found money. You could definitely be I'm going to continue to use Washington or maybe Chicago as a situation, because those are two obvious trade partners with the Kings, but also those guys aren't really playing for anything right now. And you can afford to have Sasha get that opportunity. And we've seen him. He's not going to be afraid to put him up when he gets in there. So it wouldn't surprise me if, by the end of next season, people are saying, hey, this Sasha guy, I don't know if he's going to live up to Euro MVP, the title that sounds like it is. But at the same time, I think he's a useful NBA rotational player. I think he's just got to find the right team in the right situation. And ultimately, I think he's got to be comfortable, because he didn't look comfortable. He did not look comfortable this year at really any point.
No, he's got to get healthy, and that's a year in the system. He knows what's expected. And I would say if you're Mike Brown, and I'm not saying he was ever closed-minded to it, but you have to be a bit more open-minded to Sasha if you're going to keep this guy, right? And there are days where they did not shoot the ball that well this season. There are days where you could go to Sasha, but you waited a little bit longer than maybe you should have. And it's going to take both sides to get this thing where I think we'd all like it to get to. So great reporting there by Sean. We're working on hopefully getting Sean at some point, either today, tomorrow, or next week, so he can break this whole thing down. We get your calls, your texts, your reactions to the Sasha news about the initial Sasha news, 916-339-1140. Also, we get back into the Kings and their trade talks about the pick. Are they even interested in making that pick at number 13? And we close out the last hour of the show getting into some football. Tom Brady, if you want to get hyped, if you got to work out at 1:30, I guarantee you will be hyped for that after you hear Tom Brady's Patriots Hall of Fame speech, and we get into some baseball as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco, are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Got a car-loving dad? Nice. We've got a Father's Day sale. Right now, our Armor All Ultimate 8-piece bucket kit is just $25. That's soap, a wash mitt, wheel cleaner, tire shine, glass wipes, and interior wipes. Plus, a bucket to use for the wash. All for just $25 at the AutoZone Father's Day sale. Now through the 16th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley is coming to town.
Hey, all, this is Dirk Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Farley. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
Hey, it's Dasha. Kelsey Hart and more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club and Xfinity.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
NBA basketball returns to Golden One Center this July 6th, 7th, and 9th for the California Classic Summer League Games. 3-day passes in the lower level start at just $66 and include access to all 6 games. See your Sacramento Kings as they host the San Antonio Spurs and Charlotte Hornets, featuring newly drafted rookies, NBA sophomores, and other athletes competing to make NBA rosters. Visit kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
Stiles and Watkins, if you are just now joining us earlier in the week, at the beginning of the week, we reacted to Sasha Vezenkov and the reports that Sasha wanted out of Sacramento. There were also reports that Sacramento said, hey, we don't know that you're in our future plans. Well, now Sean Cunningham of Fox 40, sports reporter, comes out and says, while Sasha remains frustrated with the lack of playing time in his first NBA season with the Sacramento Kings, I'm told by several sources that there is no truth to the report of his desire to leave the NBA. One source close to Vezenkov called the report off base and that he will honor his contract. I've also been told the Kings want to keep him, but there's also a market for him. Sacramento, or perhaps another team that offers a larger rotational role, remains to be seen. As we react to that, we hope to get Sean Cunningham on the show, hopefully tomorrow.
We know he's going to be on the station
week.
tomorrow.
He's going to be somewhere on this station.
We're still trying to figure out where it's going to
land. Somewhere on this station tomorrow. Hopefully it is on Stiles and Watkins.
That's right. The best show on Sactown Sports.
Yeah, and we can just tie a bow on it for now, Chris. But this thing is still kind of evolving. Yeah. But you got to think, if you're Sasha, you want, I guess, the best PR possible for other teams, right? That's the other thing. So what are you telling me? You're telling me you're virtually unknown, right, in terms of what you can do on the basketball court, because you didn't get that much playing time and then you got injured. And then on top of that, you're out here making demands like you're Kevin Durant, like you're James Harden, like you're Kyrie Irving. You're demanding an out. And Chris, we're really only in the King spaces, but this is not something that you hear about that often. The only thing I can recall, to be completely honest with you, was I think it was last year when Jonathan Kuminga, his camp, said Jonathan Kuminga wasn't happy with his playing time, and his camp said, hey, we want our playing time, or we want his playing time changed, or there's going to be heck to pay, something of that regard. I don't even know whatever happened with that. It just kind of went away. Kuminga stayed on the team.
Started playing.
I think he came out and said that it wasn't true or something like that towards the end of the season. And then he played last season. So that's the only thing I could think of as far as, and Jonathan Kuminga probably had more leverage than Sasha Vezenkov, to be completely honest with you. So it never made sense from the jump. We hope to get Sean on somewhere on this show, as we are the flagship for the Kings, and we will keep you up to date there. Any closing thoughts on that one, Chris?
No, I was just trying to find a team that makes the most sense for him. And, there's just not like 100%, like a perfect ideal. Oh my God, they could really use specifically Sasha in that place. I mean, I think Milwaukee would be a situation where that would make a lot of sense to him. Possibly New York could just use a guy to stand out on the perimeter and knock down threes. Maybe Philly. And I'm kind of just trying to send him over to the East, but I'm just trying to find a place where maybe, if they were to get to a situation where, we already made all the deals we want to make and Sasha's here and we kind of promised him we'd at least kick the tires on somewhere, where would be somewhere where it would just be okay, this is more about finding Sasha a good home versus the Kings trying to get something really good in return back. And I'll try and think about it more probably over the night, but can't really find a place in which it just seems to make 100% ton of sense. Maybe Phoenix, that Sasha could just go and plug and play.
Well, the reason you don't know how much sense it'll make is because you also don't really know what he is and what he.
I mean, we do to an extent. We know what he brings. I mean, he's a dynamite shooter for sure. It's just, like, can he survive? How good of a rebounder is he? Where are the places where they could use a forward, a 6'9" forward, and they have a center that makes sense to pair next to Sasha? Like, we know the things that he's not going to be good at. So we might not know the things he 100% can do, but we do know where he's limited and where are places where you can kind of hide those limitations.
Yeah. 916 is saying Kuminga cut his hair. That's what happened to Allen. That's from S1. Yeah, he cut his hair with no lineup. So you knew he was trying to just a fresh start. He just went. Yeah. He just straight cut that thing. He didn't even get it lined up. That's how you know he was in a dark place. But you got a bunch of playing time. And Chris, one of those situations now with Kuminga, where this is what's so interesting when we talk about the most improved player conversation. And obviously we know there were certain reasons I was very interested in the Jonathan Kuminga most improved player. So now he didn't make it. He wasn't eligible technically because he didn't hit the amount of games, right? So even though he made that, this is what funny. He made this huge jump, wasn't eligible. Even if he was eligible, he wasn't going to win. So now next season, the chances of him making another huge jump points-wise probably isn't probable, right? So he's kind of cooked for the most improved player award, and this whole thing is confusing to me, the most improved player.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know if it carries over. Well, You know what I mean? Oh, well, he improved. Let's not forget in 2023, he did this.
Sure.
And even though he's only up 5 more points, if you add it all together, you know what I don't know if that's how they view it.
No, it's only year over year. And yeah, they don't care about your previous season. If you missed out on 1 year, too bad. Like you're not going to get one the following season. And yeah, I mean, most improved has always been one of those weird ones where I think John Morant won it. And I think Tyrese Maxey won it this year. And it's like, well, what, you improved from good to like really good to like really, really good. Like what? And so it should be, the spirit of it should be Jonathan Kuminga. The spirit of it should be somebody who went from obscurity. You can maybe argue like Dante Exum, someone who was out of the league to, oh my gosh, he's like actually a rotational player now.
Right.
Isaiah Hartenstein would probably get it if you were giving it to somebody at the end of the season. Yeah, it's always been a really confusing award. And, you know, that's a whole separate set of issues where, you know, what is the clutch player of the year and things like that.
Clutch metrics and things like that. From Daily Sabonis, as Chris kind of started to talk about before the break on X or Twitter, this is what they had to say. Losing hope that the Kings will somehow keep and use their 13th pick. Looks like they've only worked out players for their 45th pick and potential undrafted free agents. And you look at the different players that they did work out, Chris, and essentially the ones that have numbers means that they may get drafted, right? Or that, and if there's no number by them, they're probably not even getting drafted. So the ones that have numbers, that means that's like the highest they would go. And those that don't have numbers.
Yeah, those are just the consensus mock draft.
Exactly. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of them. Only 7 of them in the whole list. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty long list. And they've worked out, it looks like around 20 people, 20 players.
Yeah. It just looks like to me, like, yeah, I mean, what their second round pick, I think is 45 or something like that. You know, it definitely is starting to point at, you know, unless we start to learn, again, private workouts, which definitely could happen. But we just haven't seen much of it. Maybe that's the case that it just hasn't been reported on. But yeah, if you're looking at these names and where they're supposed to go, this is the Kings maybe might look to get a guy early second round, maybe, you know, with the draft being 2 days now, first round 1 day, second round the second, maybe, you know, we see in the NFL sometimes, oh my God, this guy was supposed to go in the 20s and now he's available in the second round. There's going to be a frenzy for him up top.
Right.
Maybe that'll be the case. And the Kings are maybe thinking, hey, Keyshawn George, while he is in the mock drafts projected at 23, we're hearing a lot of people in the 20s aren't looking for younger guys and he might fall to the second round. And if he does fall to the second round, we want to have a good idea of whether or not that's a kind of guy that we should try and pounce on because it brings a really, really intriguing set of skills. But besides that, yeah, it's Keyshawn George and Carlton Carrington. Try and say that 5 times fast.
Bub.
Bub, that's right. He does go by Bub. Thank you. That makes things so much easier. You know, those are the only 2 first round grades that the Kings have brought in. That's really strange. That is not normal. You know, again, unless there's just names that we don't know about, that definitely is the most real sign to me that we've seen that the Kings are really considering not making that 13th pick. I would still like it, especially, again, I said it the other day, I feel like as you watch more and more prospects, you kind of find guys that you're obsessed with. And then it's like, if the Kings don't make this pick, they messed up this entire draft. And I might be falling victim to that, but I just feel like there are people at 13 that could really help this team out. And I would hope that they would at least try and see who's there before they just automatically ship it off.
Do you think I don't want to say bad business, but do you think the Kings could be playing the game more and just bringing in guys so it at least looks like they're interested in it? Or do you think it's not that deep because of this draft?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's you could definitely read that for sure. I feel like, you know, there's a good chance that, you know, you should want to kind of throw the scent off of people. You shouldn't really ever let them know your true intention, because if you are going to trade that 13th pick, it is maybe lessening the value of it a little bit if everyone knows that you're trying to ship it off. But I don't know. I feel like the Kings are in a spot where I just want them to get it right. Whatever they do, I just want them to do the right thing. And ultimately, as long as I leave the draft night and feel positive, that's all I'm going to take. I really am trying to keep an open mind about what the Kings do. Even like I said yesterday, I think even if they take a guard, I'm not going to understand it 100%, but I'll at least entertain what maybe makes sense about it. So as long as they get a good player who can help this team this season, I'm going to be for it.
Coming up next, we switch gears over to some football talk, ranking the wide receiver tiers. And also, speaking of wide receivers, Netflix show coming up with wide receivers, including a couple from the Niners. And we have a conversation on these shows where they peel back the curtain. You got the golf show, the F1 show. Do you like them? Do they do it for you? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's the ride everybody wants to be driving, and Elk Grove Kia has them in stock right now. I'm talking about the 2024 Kia Telluride. And my friends at Elk Grove Kia can get you behind the wheel of a 2024 Telluride SX for only $419 a month, plus taxes and fees. Whenever I see one of these driving down the road or next to me at a red light, I just stop and admire it because the Kia Telluride just looks iconic. And not only is the Kia Telluride beautiful, it's got room for the whole family. There's a seating capacity for up to 7 passengers. Plus, it's loaded with tech. So is the 2024 Kia Telluride the right ride for you and your family? Come on down to Elk Grove Kia and the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Give it a test drive. And just a heads up, when you're here at Elk Grove Kia, you're going to be treated very well. You're not going to get this kind of car buying experience in Roseville, Vacaville, Sacramento, or Davis. That's why Elk Grove Kia has so many 5-star reviews. Again, check them out in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online, elkgrovekia.com. 24-month lease, $0 security deposit, 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year, $4,999 due at signing based on approval of credit. VIN number 501850, ends June 30th, 2024.
Hey sports fans, it's JaVale McGee here. Are you ready for the event of the summer? It's the Jug Life Charity Softball Game hosted at Sutter Health Park on Saturday, June 15th. Join me and all my celebrity friends for the #1 event of the summer as our incredible community comes together for a cause that counts. The Jug Life Charity Softball Game isn't just about softball. It's about giving back. All proceeds go to the water education programs and providing clean water to communities in need. Thanks to your support, our team with Jug Life is making a real difference, bringing hope and health to those who need it the most. Bring your family and friends for a day you won't forget. Cheer on your favorite stars as they hit it out the park for a great cause. Come celebrate Father's Day weekend at the Jug Life Charity Softball Game that's happening on Saturday, June 15th. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at juglifewater.com. That's juglifewater.com. Join us, have fun, and make a difference. Jug Life. Drink water, give water, save water.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains tocopherol, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS.
Carmichael Dave here reminding you this Father's Day you can make your backyard the ultimate retreat with Amy's Outdoor Living, your grilling headquarters. See the new Red Hot barbecue brands Napoleon and Rectech. Napoleon grills, perfect gas, perfect infrared grilling, built to last, and those Rectech pellet grills, they're built like a tank and offer the #1 rated grilling app. Now, Amy also features Weber, Big Green Egg, and Traeger gas and pellet grills like I have, and the Gosney professional pizza ovens. Guys, I threw my old pizza oven out. I got the Gosney in my backyard. It is so awesome to do pizza at home with the family. Free setup and delivery on $3.99 and over purchases. Save 40% off selected in-stock patio furniture and umbrellas. Visit their clearance center in the Sacramento store for scratch and dent savings. Amy's Outdoor Living, El Camino near Premier Watt and inside Amy Ace Hardware in the El Dorado Town Center.
Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Enjoy over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and our thrilling high-limit room with Sky River rewards that add up and up, and 18 elevated restaurants and bars. There's something for everyone. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sasha Vezenkov. Does he want to stay? Does he want to go? Chris, you ever been in a situation like this? The transfer portal almost.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. Have I ever been in a situation like Sasha's in now? No, where it like almost feels like no, not really. I've never like been on a team where like we're losing or something like that. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I just want to just get me out of this situation or anything. No, I don't think I've ever really been like truly trapped, like a feeling of being like actually trapped and you want to leave and you can't, maybe that's even dramatizing the Sasha situation a bit, but no, I mean, it's a pretty rare thing where you were given opportunity, but it wasn't enough opportunity, but it still kind of was a decent bit to show us something. And you did show things, but it wasn't a ton of things, but I don't know. It's a really complicated situation for sure.
Yeah. And you think about, more than just, you're thinking about the game, but obviously it's how much you're getting paid and it's everything. Once you're in that NBA circle, there's so many players that would love to be in the NBA circle. Deciding to leave when you're 28 years old just didn't make very much sense. I love social media, Chris, and I love
real quick too. Sorry, I do want to just let the people know that we have gotten confirmation from Sean Cunningham.
Yes, so
tomorrow around noon.
Around noon, Sean Cunningham will be on the show to break down everything that he had to say in the report. And if you're just now joining us, Sean said, while Sasha Vezenkov remains frustrated with the lack of playing time in his first season with the Sacramento Kings, I'm told by several sources there is no truth to the report of his desire to leave the NBA. One source close to Vezenkov called the report off base and that he will honor his contract. I've also been told the Kings want to keep him, but there's also a market for him. Sacramento or perhaps another team that offers a larger rotational role remains to be seen. So that is tomorrow. We cannot disclose everything we will talk about tomorrow, but let's just say you're not going to want to miss Sean Cunningham at around 12 p.m. Fridays have been hot for us the last couple Fridays. So let's just keep it rolling. Chris, I was in a similar situation at Dale South. So Dale South, my sophomore year, they allow juniors to play JV.
Really?
Yes. I guess it's based on
don't give up trade secrets here.
Well, I guess it's based on the coaching, right? I think legally, but I think you are allowed to play JV as a junior. I think all high schools are allowed to do it. Some teams just say we don't do it.
The rich stay ahead.
Because what is the point of this, right? What is the point of this? So what happened was,
somebody look into that, please.
You look into it. Sophomore year, okay. So the team or the class ahead of my class. They were juniors when I was a sophomore.
As that
7 Division I commits. 7. One of them played in the major leagues. Okay. 7 division. Mike Miller.
Just in the junior class.
In the junior class.
That's crazy.
So from there, 2 outfielders that were not one of the 7 they played JV as juniors, and they were both outfielders. So
oh my God, yes.
you put what was it? About 6 outfielders from the sophomore class are on the team.
Right.
Then you have 2 junior outfielders hanging around
who probably would play for some teams, but just
not Dale South.
Yeah, not Dale
exactly.
South. Right.
So basically, there was nowhere to. All the 6 of us would just rotate. 6 of us would rotate every couple games, and I went to my parents and I said, I ain't out of here, man. They said, you're not going anywhere. Right. And the most annoying thing about that is that the two guys, I think maybe one of them started. The other one, once he got, because I don't know why they did it, but he gets to senior year and he's a pitcher only. So all of us
just wasted your
our
sophomore
season. Nate, you have it is a rule.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I called my friend. He's the assistant coach right now on varsity for Del Campo's varsity basketball team. He's also been he's a teacher in the district.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a coach in Woodland, the head coach of the varsity team there. He did confirm, as every district he's played in, San Juan currently, which is a huge one here in the Sacramento area. My mom's a teacher in there too. They juniors can play in JV.
It's incredibly embarrassing.
I think it's just frowned upon heavily.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I checked sources. It seems to be the case. I think it's just one of those things that's heavily frowned upon.
It's also kind of a tough conversation for the junior out, or like to have with the where it's like, hey, I know you probably want to be on varsity with all your friends.
Hang out with these youngins.
Yeah, you got to hang out with the kids. Sorry, you got to play in the sandbox.
So that was a situation where there was a log jam. Same thing like
tough.
the Wings on the Kings.
Definitely.
There was a log jam, and I wasn't getting paid $6 million, or I would have sat there and shut up. But
do you think they should just rip the Band-Aid off with this Sasha thing? Because, I mean, just kind of get him, like, cut your losses, you think?
I think they will.
The problem that always comes back for me is that Mike Brown didn't necessarily even want this guy on the team, right? Like, we don't know that for sure.
Whether he did or didn't. But when people say, well, he flew out there, that's why I keep saying, well, do we know he wanted to?
Doing his job. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
Just seeing the guy, that doesn't mean he's like, it's doing an interview. It doesn't matter.
We don't know if Mike Brown was driving the Sasha bus,
right,
or if he was a passenger on the Sasha bus. It feels like he was a passenger on the Sasha
Speaking
bus.
of your river reference, it could have just been the river. They're all just kind of floating down, and this is where it's going to go.
Yeah, somebody was the captain, and it was either Vivek or Monty.
Yeah,
somebody was the captain.
Why do you think that?
Because how did this start?
Because it wasn't Sasha's. So they get the draft rights years ago, right? And then isn't it Sasha's decision when he wanted to come to SAC?
Yeah.
He said that in his preseason interview. They had that whole thing for him. They made a big deal about it. That whole last offseason was Sasha's offseason, correct?
Yeah.
Kings didn't do anything else really at all. So I guess that's evidence for that someone was driving the ship and wanted to push that out. And to me, that seems more like a Vivek thing, more like a promotion, like a quote unquote sell jerseys.
They didn't do anything else.
Yes, excite the fans. So I think your theory, now that we're talking about it, kind of feels like Vivek, if anyone, was driving the ship.
Yeah.
William Lamas, if Monty was directing Brown, he would have made Brown play him. I don't think that. I don't think that happens. How often do you think that happens in the NBA? Because I just don't think it happens very often.
I think it does happen. I was actually hearing Jeff Teague podcast where Jeff Teague talked about essentially, ownership, or coach talked to him and said, hey, the organization, doesn't matter if you score 30 in the first half, you're only playing 20 minutes and you're not playing more than 20 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's the worst game of your life or the best game of your life. You're only playing 20 because we want to prioritize playing the young guys.
Okay, but that sounds like a team that wasn't very good, though. So I don't know how often something like this would happen on a team that has expectations and aspirations when the Kings were just middling and couldn't figure it out.
Sure.
I'm sure there were, I guess I would imagine that there were conversations that were had.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I more so agree with Nate. I think that this is not a Monty McNair decision. I think that it was, it was a lot of PR and it was a lot of like, how exciting would it be to get the EuroLeague MVP? There was a lot of, hey, like Sasha could be this team's Peja and be the final piece that sets it over the top. And look at Peja's rookie numbers and Sasha's rookie numbers. And then, he actually didn't pop until his second year, all that stuff. So I do kind of think it was a lot more of marketing than, realistic fit, because I think Monty knew this team has plenty of shooters. I mean, of course, you can never have too many shooters, but I don't necessarily think that they identified more shooting and a 6'9" guy who's not really defensively minded at all, bringing him in just didn't really make a lot of sense from how Monty is trying to build this thing. So I think they would probably say it was an organizational decision in total. I think they all probably agreed on it, but who was the one who was probably pressing for it most, I would guess it was probably ownership. But yeah, I don't think that there was any directive necessarily that they had to or had to not play Sasha. I think it was all Mike Brown's decision. And I'm sure they maybe nudged him into saying, like, we would definitely like it if Sasha were to play, if he could be a factor on this team from day one. But they clearly didn't force Mike Brown to do it because he went away from it very quickly and didn't really rush to head back to it.
To that note, now that Mike Brown has signed his extension, in those rooms, do X's and O's and roster ideas and ideals get talked about? Were there any conversations about Mike Brown's decision making when it comes to the lineup and maybe not rotations, but hey, maybe some more Sasha, maybe some less of this, some more of that? Do you think in negotiation conversations that happens, or is it strictly this is what happened, this is what we did, this is what we want to pay you for it?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's all discussed. I mean, if there's ever a time to bring it up, I mean, that would definitely be the time. If you have an issue with involvement or anything like that, you know, contract negotiations is really the ultimate time to bring it up. Like if you're Mike Brown and you think that ownership is too meddling, you're going to say in your negotiations, like, well, if you are going to continue to meddle, I would like more money because I'm having less impact and you need to make it worth my time. I'm not just going to be a mouthpiece. I'm not just going to be Darvin Ham holding his hands in his pockets. I want to actively coach this thing. And if you're taking that away, some of that from me, I better be getting something in return because I'm going to be the one that people call Sactown Sports 1140 about and say, fire Mike Brown, fire Mike Brown. So if I'm going to take the heat for something that's really not my decision and out of my hands, you need to make it worth my time. So I would imagine things like that get brought up. How much of that was discussed? I wouldn't imagine much. I think Mike Brown does have a lot of say over the daily X's and O's of what happens. Maybe he would want some more say in the player personnel because, again, we're always going to use JTA as the example. The day JTA walked through those doors into this building, into the Golden One Center, Mike Brown was like, how does 20 minutes per game sound?
And he walked straight onto the court.
He was
from
like,
the plane to the court.
Don't even go to practice. Just go stand on the sideline. Get ready to get checked in. It's going to happen, okay? So, yeah, maybe that would be the thought, is that Mike maybe would honestly say the opposite. Not only should you guys have less power, but I want more power in the decisions. And we don't know where they fell on that. But I would imagine if you're going to give him 3 more years, you better at least make it so he's having a say in the success of those 3 years.
Coming up next, are you interested in the Receivers show that is coming to Netflix? We play that trailer for you. Also, Sacramento is doing something that people might not like when it comes to parking tickets and parking prices, if you will. We'll tell you what it is. And don't forget, you want to get hyped up for the rest of your Thursday, this Tom Brady speech. I think I'm way more excited than Chris, but I can't wait to hear it. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton and Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Save on rows and rows of new Hondas during our giant summer sale at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey, Sacramento, get ready to rock, groove, and have a blast with the Sactown Sports live events calendar. It's an unbeatable lineup of shows you won't want to miss. First up at Thunder Valley on June 22nd, don't miss NSYNC and Backstreet stars Joey Fatone and AJ McLean as they bring back the hits. On June 28th, it's country sensation Lee Brice lighting up the stage, all at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. And check out your Live Nation lineup on August 4th. Don't miss the Outlaw Music Festival at Toyota Amphitheater, featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. On August 15th, catch Donnie Osmond at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. And then on August 22nd, Creed Fisher takes the stage at Ace of Spades. And coming up September 10th, enjoy the timeless sounds of the Doobie Brothers at Toyota Amphitheater. Visit livenation.com for all your ticket information. And stay tuned to Sactown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTK-AM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
I'm Nate Littlefield, and this is your U.S. Open update. Currently in first place, Patrick Cantlay is 5 under, while in second, Ludwig Oberg is 4 under. Third place has Matthew Pavon at a fitting 3 under. And in 4, that's where things get interesting. A 3-way tie with all the gentlemen at 2 under, Rory McIlroy, Tyrell Hatton, and Tony Finau. This update is brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Now we get back to Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
That receiver show that everyone has been talking about, literally just called Receiver, arrives July 10th. And we have the audio of the trailer for you. And Chris, I think I'm pretty intrigued. Let's see. I actually haven't seen the trailer, so let's see if I feel more intrigued after. Have you seen the trailer already?
Of course.
Let's see if I'm more intrigued after. Yeah, it's got your boy in it. All right, Nate, let's hear it.
I have an alter ego.
He calls that dance the gritty.
And when I start putting these chains on, start putting the teeth in.
I do catch passes. I do score touchdowns. I get to do everything.
What's up, baby?
I'm like running back, kick returner, receiver.
He does it all.
I'm big on celebrations. If I dance, I need it to go viral.
Funny enough, that was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Probably the last person of the list that I would have expected to say, if I score a touchdown and I do a dance, it needs to be viral.
Can I ask something?
He also dyes his hair blue.
I don't know. Be careful.
I am going to be careful. But isn't there an elephant in the room here?
What, Debo and Kittle?
Why is Kittle in it?
He's, I guess, yeah. It is called receiver, huh?
It's called receiver.
He did lead
is a
the tight ends in
receptor.
receiving yards last year.
You know, yeah,
Did Travis Kelce not pick up the phone?
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, probably
He was on the Eras tour.
more than likely.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
You know,
honest,
the brothers are coming out with a beer.
I saw. Well, no, they
an
brought
IPA?
into a beer.
Yeah.
Coming soon to your local Sacramento Rayleighs for Chris Watkins to get
That's
mad at.
right.
That's right.
Another crafter.
You know the
Gosh.
what is it called? Like the cover of the can. Is
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be ridiculous.
It better be.
Dude, I hate when the cans have like the label over it and it's not part of the
Oh,
can.
I know.
You know what
I know
mean?
exactly
It
what you're
feels-
talking about, yes.
Listen, I know it's small business and stuff, but it feels cheap to me.
Nate, we literally did this same. You
We
literally
did,
said
yeah.
these same words.
It's true,
4
man.
months ago.
That's how you know I'm not lying.
It
4
really
months
bugs you.
ago.
It does bug me because you don't know if it's cold or not. You don't know if
Yeah.
your bevy's
Yeah.
cold or not.
And
I hear you.
There's like a ridge on it. Cheap.
Are you interested in this show?
I am. I thought quarterbacks was amazing. I did think it was interesting that everybody loved Kirk Cousins after. I wonder who will, I'm sure I actually answered the question before I even asked it. George Kittle's going to be the Kirk Cousins of this series where everyone's going to leave it and say, oh, George Kittle's so funny. He's so hilarious. What a real human that guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be great. I mean, especially even to follow the Niners as they go all the way to the Super Bowl. Like, you know, we were obviously there. We were pretty inside all of it all to see everything that they were going through as we were there. It's going to be pretty cool to watch. I think it'll be interesting for sure. Will it be as good as quarterback? Probably not, just because we don't know that much about quarterbacks. I feel like with the receivers, there is going to be a lot of, of course, they're going to do them the justice of showing their family stuff and all that, but there's going to be a lot more of extra-ness, you know. I think Debo and Justin Jefferson especially.
8-episode series from NFL Films and Omaha Productions.
Yep.
Those guys just continue to make money.
Yep. Yeah. Does the Devontae Adams piece of this intrigue you at all? Because, you know, I know they had a pretty, I guess, boring season, but it's just, you know, like I don't really, you know, Devontae Adams, you know, I think he doesn't have a podcast. He's been on Max Crosby's a couple times,
Right.
but like he's not really somebody I would say that's been super forward, front facing in terms of marketing or anything like that. I think he's got a Taco Bell commercial, but
Palo Alto's finest.
yeah, you know, I wonder how much are these people actually going to grab the audience, and how much of these, because again, I think Kittle is going to be super relatable, super funny, but Debo, like, you know, I know Debo's a big family guy, but outside of, is it just going to be them working out? How much of their personality and how much personality do these guys actually have? That's the interesting part. We know quarterbacks have to have a certain level of charisma, certain level of moxie and leadership and things like that. Even Marcus Mariota, who was pretty boring, had some level of entertainment to his story. How much are they going to be able to grab us with their story? That's the part that I'm not quite sold on.
I'll tell you this much. Don't sleep on Amon-Ra St. Brown if his pops is in it at all.
I'm pretty sure he will be.
Have
Yes.
you seen
Yes.
some of the stuff on his
Yes.
dad?
Yes.
I mean, he is one of a kind. You know their last name isn't actually St. Brown.
Is it just it's Brown?
I
and
believe
he
it's
just
just Brown,
threw
and they just
Saint
added
on
the
there,
Saint.
right? Yeah.
So
Not to be messed with.
There will
Those some real
definitely
psychos.
be some kind of funny bits, I would assume.
His dad will outlift him, I bet, at some point in the show.
Oh, yes.
Or he will lift him.
Without a doubt. And all in all, so you're into all of these types of shows like Drive to Survive and Full Swing. And the question is, and I showed you a video of, it was a kid, he was probably, I don't know, probably 14, something like that. And he was playing baseball, and he had on a camera on his helmet.
Yeah.
And he was literally just talking himself through the process. He gets a hit, or he got a double, and then he scores. And we were like, wow, that's really cool. Could this thing work? And we know it feels like Mookie's podcast has been kind of popping lately.
Yeah.
And
Had like the Glass Now clip the other day.
exactly. So do you think that this could work for Major League Baseball? Would anybody even, because the thing is, if you already like baseball, you'd probably watch. The question is, would you convince anyone that isn't huge on baseball or the casual fan to check it out? And honestly, I don't know. There's just way too many shows.
I think you could, because I think this is just a different way of storytelling for baseball. Like, I think the problem with baseball, obviously, is the 162 games or whatever it is. I think it's tough for people to get a full grasp of what the story of the season is when it's a 6-month long adventure. And so I think like a 10-episode Netflix special could probably help it, man. Like I really do think that could be a really big step for baseball, almost in the same way that, Hard Knocks did a thing for football, especially for the preseason and for just general interest in the preseason. I could see, this show being a thing for baseball where, Drive to Survive, nobody cared about F1 4 or 5 years ago. Not a single American cared about F1. And now,
not like this.
Now it feels like everybody, you go to Thanksgiving and there's going to be at least a 5 to 10 minute conversation about Drive to Survive. I never watched it. Drive to Survive, that is. I hear it's great. I think I did watch like 1 or 2 episodes. Couldn't get into it. Full Swing, I watched, I think 3 to 4 episodes. That was a lot better. Had my interest for sure. I watched all of Quarterback. I thought it was great. It kind of sounds like baseball is working on getting this kind of thing to happen. And I think it's only going to help it. I can't imagine that it's going to hurt it at all.
Well, apparently it is going to happen, and it's going to happen for the Boston Red Sox as John Crook accidentally spills the beans on this one. And I don't know. And I guess on social media, the caption was, I'm not sure if Crook was supposed to even bring this up yet. Here's the audio.
Lauren Test is here. She's talking to people from Major League Baseball about, what can I say? I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about. After Bryce hits his double.
Okay. 3-2, close pitch.
We'll let you know. That was a close pitch.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Well, Netflix is here doing a thing on the Red Sox. They're here
nice.
every day with them.
Okay.
And they wanted to talk about maybe doing the Phillies at some point down the road.
Like it. It's ball 4.
And, that's, they have access to the field, clubhouse, trainer's room. I'm not sure if,
I think we all have a friend like that says the quiet part out loud.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but Stacy and Jimmy are getting married, right? Or they're getting a divorce, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm pretty sure they told you that yesterday.
And they lost their house. And that's definitely not me. I'm not that guy.
Okay. We don't tell Nate anything.
Frankie also this morning before the show, he kind of caught on to it because there was a clearing of the benches and someone ran out with a boom mic, I believe he said.
Yeah.
So there's been clues. It's hard to hide things like that these days.
Yeah.
Like, why would you run out with a boom mic into a fight?
Well,
YouTube these days, you know.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you probably could convince. I don't know if the random person would think, oh, they must be doing a show on this.
Right.
I think there's so much social media these days. You probably could get away with it.
Yeah.
A boom mic is huge. Like, a boom mic is like 10 to 12 feet long.
And dude's got like a
I'm saying you're casually watching.
There could be a million reasons why
it's getting recorded. Sure, we're recording it, but why are they recording?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I don't know if my mind would instantly go to that must be a Netflix show.
Right. It could be Major League Baseball. Hey, did you say anything that you're not supposed to say?
Yeah.
You're getting getting suspended.
Oh, like they're okay. I would just say there's a bunch of social media detectives out there, and I think generally stuff like this.
People have a lot of free time.
I think it's dope. I think, I really think it's going to help, especially, like Krug said, like if they're going to get locker room, full access of, drama and everything. Red Sox aren't doing too hot they're not terrible or anything, but they're not really making a ton of noise. So that might be the thing that ends up dooming the series.
They're 500.
Yeah, that might be the thing that ends up dooming the series in general is like who's going to care, especially in the first season, if you're covering a 500 team. It does you a lot of favors to cover a playoff team or a team that at least makes the World Series or a deep run. It's a bit of a strange choice to do the Red Sox besides their notoriety.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, after they got rid of Mookie and they've been needing some guys to step up, and Xander Bogaerts as well.
Right.
So really interesting decision. But again, did the Yankees say no? Just like these quarterbacks, did the Yankees say no? We don't want you around. Did the whoever else? I don't think the Orioles would say no.
Should have done it with the A's.
No. The other question is,
John Fisher would take the money.
The other question is would you rather, like you said, have a full season and completely guess on who's going to perform well,
right?
Or maybe wait till, hey, we're going to do this after the All-Star break?
How dope would it have been if they done spring training, like to the Hard Knocks model of like doing the preseason, like you kind of alleviate the problem of having success, like having to worry about how is the Red Sox season going to end?
Yeah,
like we don't. I just a random thought, like I don't know how they could have done it different, but like I think that there's ways of getting more eyeballs on baseball. And I think honestly the biggest problem for baseball too is like we don't know anything about these guys. Like we don't know Ronald Acuna Jr. What are his interests? Is he super into other sports? Is he just into it's not just him, it's a lot of guys. Aaron Judge, and I don't think a Red Sox series is going to help that much.
They should have done that model of the receiver for baseball because of what you just said. Get Julio Rodriguez.
Get Mike Trout, Jr. For God's sake. Can we learn two things about Mike Trout?
He's not playing right now.
That could have been another thing.
Aaron Judge. Get those guys. That's what they should have done, and maybe they still will. But just a random team and a team that's 500 right now. Maybe they pick it up in the second half. But as of right now, I'm not even probably going to watch it. And I like baseball. So
Phillies would have been interesting.
Phillies coming off of losing the World Series.
Right, yeah.
But maybe they said no.
I mean, and that's what I guess that's kind of what Kruk is saying is that at the very least, like they're potentially talking to the Phillies about it. I mean, that makes
in the future. But we'll see. Maybe the Phillies win the whole thing and it makes
and maybe the Red Sox thing is just a test. Like maybe that's like their pilot season. Maybe that'll be the thing that they take to well, it sounds like Netflix might have already picked it up, but maybe this is just more of a proof of concept. And they'll move forward and be more decisive about who they pick.
All right. Are you ready for chills? Tom Brady.
Oh, my goodness.
And a piece of his Patriots Hall of Fame speech. If you got a run that you got to go on later, if you got to go to the gym, if you got to do your laundry, this is going to get you hyped up to do anything. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We're about to get into the Tom Brady Hall of Fame speech. Excerpts from the Tom Brady Hall of Fame speech from the 209. Every league has just turned players into prima donnas. Bring back the Nolan Ryan style of play and people will watch. The documentary on Nolan was great. That's David from Galt. I guess, I don't know if I'm going against David from Galt, but I do wonder this. Wouldn't you say that out of all of the sports, as far as the sports changing, and I don't know because I'm not in the NHL spaces as much as the others, but you hear basketball. It's not like it was in the 80s, right? You hear baseball. There's too many analytics and things like that. Even football, we're going to get into some other Tom Brady sound as he says the quarterback play is different, but you can't hit anybody anymore. It's turning into flag football. It feels like, and I would need somebody that is well-versed on the NHL to chime in, but from what I've seen, when I watch playoff hockey, it doesn't feel like hockey has changed at all. They still wear, they don't even look like real helmets, right? They don't cover their whole face. They're all missing teeth. They can still fight. They do everything they always have done, but it doesn't feel like all those people that are always, I guess, for lack of a better term, complaining about other sports getting soft, they're still not turning to, like, hockey hasn't grown at all,
right? And
it's remained the same. I just think it's interesting that it's probably the one sport, I would say, that doesn't feel like it's changed over. Maybe there's certain high sticking and different calls that you can't do and maybe you could do in the past, but as a whole, they haven't gotten rid of fighting. You can still hit the crap out of people, but it doesn't feel like the sport has grown, even though it hasn't changed.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not really a hockey expert, so I can't give you that, but I definitely think that, the leagues have definitely gotten softer, and I wonder how much of it too is like, I'm kind of workshopping this. I don't really know how to properly phrase it, but sometimes I was watching the other day, I think like an 80s title or something, like a title celebration of one of the teams from, we'll say the 80s, just because it's a little cleaner. And like just the raw celebration of like how much it really means to these guys. And like, also like the purity at which people talk about like the sport. And I know like, in terms of time, like LeBron again spends millions of dollars on his body and is working out from sun up to sundown and doesn't talk to his kids because it wastes energy or whatever Christian McCaffrey's dad said about not talking at school on Fridays or whatever. But like, it just kind of feels like the purity of sport isn't really there anymore, where it's like, of course these guys care a ton about winning, but and I think maybe that's just the answer.
I think you make a great point. And to David's
like these dudes
point,
used to care so much.
I hate this guy.
The rivalry. I mean, there's a reason why rivalries really used to like go really deep, is because these dudes, even the players, hated each other.
They
would
make
say,
too much money to care.
Yankees. Yeah, I think
too much money to care.
Definitely could
David,
be the case.
uses Nolan Ryan as the example. Too much money to care. Back then, I hate this guy, hard-nosed dude. The only thing I will say on like the Nolan Ryan piece and all of that jazz is the consistency or the lack thereof when it comes to the line between Nolan Ryan and sportsmanship, because the whole sportsmanship thing.
I'm also a little unfamiliar with like Nolan.
Well, Nolan Ryan, he was
Ryan?
just a hard nose.
Like
I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'll throw at you. I'll do whatever.
Kind of what I'm explaining.
Yes,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you can't have that. It's just tough when it's like, okay,
that mentality.
We want that,
exist.
but you got to be a role model. But you got to care. But you have a brand. It is a lot to kind of. You cannot have it all.
Right.
Like I saw some things on when Anthony Edwards lost. He didn't shake hands, and it didn't really become a thing. And I'm happy and I'm glad it didn't become a thing. But I'm sure there's somebody somewhere saying that's bad sportsmanship. Well, which is it? If he's yucking it up with the Mavericks after they lost, you're calling him soft and you're saying that's what's wrong with the league.
Exactly.
So I do think that you can't have it all. Maybe back in those Nolan Ryan days, sportsmanship just wasn't viewed as important.
Yeah.
And I think you can still, I think if we're not telling the problem is, now little leaguers are going to do that. Well, they're not playing by themselves. You're there to tell them, hey, don't do that until you're older. Whatever it is you want to tell them. Let's get to Steven, who wants to be a part of the conversation. 916-339-1140. Steven wants to talk F1, though. What's up, Steven? Happy Friday Eve. What you got for us?
Happy Friday Eve, man. You know what's funny? Last Friday Eve, I believe I called you 5'4", 140, and then my work catches on fire that night. So I think,
poor Steven.
I know. I need to ease up on you. You know what I'm saying?
Steven, is the building okay?
I'm in the building right now as we speak, to be honest with you. So I'm doing a bunch of cleanup and everything. So
Okay.
Yeah, go to KCRA3. Go to KCRA3 and look up Rancho Fire, and you'll see the story in reference to that.
Well,
one.
I'm sorry to hear that,
Steven. This is your second. Steven, you're breaking these guys 2 weeks in a row. Chris is. You got Alan last week. I think Chris, you may have.
Chris is crying.
Chris might have to leave.
Oh, did he mute himself because he's dying right now?
I think the fire got him, man.
Steven.
Oh,
you got to be careful.
Well, anyway,
man.
Oh no, you got to be careful, fam. You know what I'm saying? But by the way, it wasn't 5'4", it was 5'9", 140.
Steven, we're up against it. What are you getting to, Steven?
I'm getting to in reference to all the shows that you guys are talking about as far as like receiver and drive to survive and all that fun stuff. You got to be a real diehard fan of the sport in order for you to dive into something like that. I'm a big Formula One guy. I've shared that before. Drive to Survive is amazing. The one thing that I have to complain about, if it even is a complaint, is they kind of drive a lot of narratives and stuff like that. So they leave a lot of the details out. A lot of good details they skimp out on that they just, I guess there just isn't time for it. So my point is, man, if you decide to get into that, man, and those type of shows, receiver, quarterback, whatever, you got to be a freaking nut in order to like really take all that in, because that's you want to talk about analytics. If you follow analytics and stuff like that, like you do with baseball, that it's going to grow exponentially as far as the information you're going to receive. So that's pretty much it, man. I just wanted to clear the air on that whole measurements thing. I apologize if I offended you, my friend.
All good, Steven. Yeah. We're all good.
You guys have yourselves a really good day, man. Stay up, and man, you'll hear from me soon.
All right. You too, Steven. Take care. Coming up next, now we'll get to the Tom Brady. All I want to do is hear the Tom. Can I just hear the Tom Brady pump-up speech, please? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. LaPorte is over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right. Being chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down again.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley is coming to town.
Hey, all, this is Dirk Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Bonnie. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
Hey, it's Dasha. Kelsey Hart and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club and Xfinity.
It's the ride everybody wants to be driving, and Elk Grove Kia has them in stock right now. I'm talking about the 2024 Kia Telluride. And my friends at Elk Grove Kia can get you behind the wheel of a 2024 Telluride SX for only $419 a month, plus taxes and fees. Whenever I see one of these driving down the road or next to me at a red light, I just stop and admire it because the Kia Telluride just looks iconic. And not only is the Kia Telluride beautiful, it's got room for the whole family. There's a seating capacity for up to 7 passengers. Plus, it's loaded with tech.
So is the 2024 Kia Telluride the right ride for you and your family? Come on down to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Give it a test drive. And just a heads up, when you're here at Elk Grove Kia, you're going to be treated very well. You're not going to get this kind of car buying experience in Roseville, Vacaville, Sacramento, or Davis. That's why Elk Grove Kia has so many 5-star reviews. Again, check them out in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online, elkgrovekia.com. 24-month lease, $0 security deposit, 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year, $4,999 due at signing based on approval of credit. VIN number 501850, ends June 30th, 2024.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See Capital One.
And local. This is Sactown Sports.
All right. By the way, Chris, Campio Silva checking in on the Sac chat. Hello, Stiles and Watkins. I think last night, you're going to love this one, Chris. Okay. I think last night showed why Vlade passed on Luka. It's a man's game.
That's not toxic at all. Last night in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, which Luka is playing in,
he is in. He
really showed Vlade. He really showed him. He really showed him with his performance yesterday.
Let me ask you this, because you've been very open about how the Kings not taking Luka has affected you, right?
Not just me, but the entire city. But
yeah. But I'm talking about you. These are other Kings fans that are maybe they're just trying to make themselves feel better. Maybe that's part of it.
It is.
So you don't have any worries at all when it comes to Luka, just as a package, as a player, as a leader. He's 25 years old. He's been to the Western Conference Finals. He's been to the finals now. If you were in that organization, because we heard Colin Cowherd saying he's immature, he's got to grow up, he's got to this, he's got to that. Is it a matter of you not being worried, or a matter of you feeling like it's still early, he still has so much more room to grow?
My thing is just none of it matters, because he's really freaking good at basketball, and that's what the game is. The game is to have the best players, and the only way for the Kings to get a player of the caliber of Luka was to take him there. And, if he's a D-bag and like you have to, really work around it, which they kind of tried to do with DeMarcus, like I think Luka is talented enough to where, as long as he's not harming people outside of the game, like, I can deal with somebody who complains a lot if he can hoist the trophy at the same time. Right. So that was more my thing. And, people will retort and say, oh, but, what about his inability to play next to De'Aaron Fox? Well, I'd say that kind of sounds like a De'Aaron Fox problem. Like if De'Aaron can't play with, a guy, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, my bigger thing is Luka is a supreme talent, and I'm willing to push other things aside because he is such a supreme talent that the Kings just cannot get otherwise. Right. That you forget about the rest and you bring in the guy that can bring you a title. And if you have to figure out some emotional aspects of it, so be it. I'll figure that part out. But the really, really hard part is to find somebody who has that level of talent. And to me, it was clear and obvious that Luka had this talent when he was drafted. This is not a surprise. I I would be surprised if this is Luka's only trip. And I would have told you that the day he was drafted, that I would have expected Luka Doncic to be in at least one finals. And I probably would expect him to win, I would say 2 when he was drafted at least. So, and everything I've seen since is more just confirming everything I thought. And I'm not saying I'm special. I'm not saying I have some great draft mind. I think that there was multiple people who it was clear and obvious to, and the Kings should have counted their blessings when Phoenix passed on him 1 and they had an option to get him at 2. The fact that they then passed on him at 2, I thought was just, I mean, that's unforgivable.
Just had to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, because, it's free. I'll give those thoughts every single day of the week. I'm not shook on it.
Yeah, well,
I'm unapologetic about it.
No. That's completely fine. I just know that there are Luka isn't a perfect player. No. And as long as your stance is but because of everything else he does, because the thing, neither is De'Aaron. Yeah. And his talent isn't where
neither is Jason Tatum.
Neither is a bunch of these players, right? And their talent isn't where Luka is, and we'll see what happens. But it seems like Luka will get that almost, it's like a badge of honor, that finals L on his resume here. All right, it's time. Now, this is only an excerpt, but it was the excerpt that gave me chills. If you have been listening to this show, thank you for listening. If you are new to the show, thank you for checking in with your boys. And when Alan is hanging out, I wouldn't say too late at night because I got to get my beauty rest, but when wifey is asleep and toddler Stiles is asleep, and I end up on the old TikTok and I end up in a black hole of motivational speeches and motivational, just
who's your one? Who's the one where you just, every time that face pops up, you're like, I know this is going to be it.
I mean,
is it an athlete or is it okay?
Well, Tom Brady's good.
Goggins?
Who?
David, the guy who runs a marathon every day?
I don't know. Send them to me. Okay. 50 Cent has some good ones. 50 Cent has some really good ones. I say Curtis Jackson.
Mark Wahlberg at 3 a.m.
I haven't come across it, but I probably will because the phones are listening. So thank you for that. And when I heard this drop by Tom Brady, I had a new one to bookmark when I'm grinding.
This one circulated fast.
Oh, yeah. Nate, without further ado, let's hear from the GOAT.
Let's get hyped.
I would encourage everyone to play football for the simple reason that it is hard. It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts and 2-a-days. It's hard to throw, catch, block, and tackle and hit kids when they're way bigger and way more developed than you, only to go home that night bruised and battered and strained, but knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard. No matter who you are, there are bumps and hits and bruises along the way. My advice is to prepare yourself, because football lessons teach us that success and achievement come from overcoming adversity, and that team accomplishment far exceeds anyone's individual goals. To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts. If you look at all my teammates here tonight, it would be impossible to find better examples of men who embody that work ethic, integrity, purpose, determination, and discipline that it takes to be a champion in life.
Outstanding. That last part gets me every time.
I like the email notification halfway.
Yeah, you kind of ruined
that. Kind of sounded like if Chat GPT were giving like an inspirational speech.
What are we talking about?
Wasn't Randy Moss?
Sounded a little too rehearsed to me.
It's Tom Brady.
No, it was great. Like, especially if that's off the dome or like if whatever.
Well,
it was well presented.
Yes.
I will absolutely give him the benefit of the doubt for that. Very well presented. And I also learned very early in that speech that I was just clearly never built for football because everything he explained about what makes football great, like why it's so hard. Those are all the reasons I was like, yeah, football sucks. It's great to watch.
This is what they were talking about
fun.
with the NBA versus the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to do that.
No, not at all.
Because
especially being here in Sacramento, like I think about this more so in August for sure, but definitely some months in June and July when it's like 110 degrees here in Sacramento. All I think of is, man, there are several hundreds of high school, like 13 to 17-year-olds out here just baking, just praying that their coach says, all right, y'all, water break, get 2 minutes, and then we're back out here. I just think about all the times in which, it's just Sacramento heat, and you're just in those pads, you're in the helmet, you're sweating, and then it's time for conditioning. And it's football's definitely not easy. And if that's what Tom loves most about it, then thanks. Appreciate you for letting me know that I was not ever cut out for it.
you know who caught a stray there?
Who?
Pancakes.
Yeah.
Pancakes.
While your friends are out there eating pancakes.
Is that even the worst food?
Yeah.
But that's what's so funny for Tom Brady. Pancakes are just anything worse than a pancake. Imagine if you said deep fried.
Right.
Tom Brady has never even heard of a deep fried Snickers.
Is that really something we should be promoting here? Like, let your kids be kids, you know? Like, why do you have to be ready to grind and get up at 6 a.m. in sixth grade?
All your other fourth grade friends are eating pancakes.
And what was that? You don't have to be special. You just have to be different than everybody else.
Come on, Chris.
That kind of sounds like special and different to me.
Chris, come on now. No, this is what he said. No, Chris, come on. You don't have to you to be special. You don't have to be special, okay? You just have to be consistent. And
that's not what I heard.
And willing to work.
That's not what I heard. I heard you don't have to be special. You just have to do things that others aren't doing.
I'm reading. No. I have it right here. It's coming up. Hold on. No, because you're ticking me off now with this, because this is a really good speech. Here it goes. To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't.
Right.
Consistent.
Stop it after most people aren't.
No.
Sounds like different.
Consistent and determined.
Don't ruin this
special.
For me, Chris. You just have to be different.
Do not ruin this for me, Chris. All right. Coming up next.
To that tonight.
I will. A crosstalk with Whitey.
Yeah, that's it.
Stiles and Watkins.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, the Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
We see a lot of news about teens vaping, but teens see something else. Videos on social media that glamorize it and downplay the dangers of nicotine. How can parents talk so kids will listen? Use facts. 1. Nicotine can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can make teens more anxious. 3. Changes to the brain can be permanent. So even when it hides behind a new look, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, But a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's Make This the Summer event?
Well, it boils down to this one question. Do you want a great deal? Hoblet has it. Right now, you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on remaining new 2023 Dodge Challenger or Dodge Chargers, starting as low as $25,595. There's just a handful left, and after this month, it's all done.
After this month, the savings are all gone.
Yep. So if you've been putting it off, but you've dreamt about getting one of these cars, you better stop by Hoblet Dodge in historic downtown Woodland fast.
You won't find a bigger selection or bigger deals on the vehicle you want than Hoblet Dodge right now. Don't miss your opportunity. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
13,000 total net savings after $89.20 factory rebates and $48.80 dealer discount. At least 10 at this net savings. $25,595 net price after $64.20 factory rebates. Rebates may include $500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of First Responder Association. VIN number 607624. See dealer for details.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Whitey Gleason, while Kyle Draper is in Mexico. Not that that would have made a difference, but Whitey joins us from the Drive Guys.
I got something for you.
Okay. Oh, like a gift?
Sort of something to play for you. And I know you guys love to say, "What are we doing?" I think I heard Chris say today. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So I have somebody saying, "What are we doing?" And you just have to identify who it is. It's someone that you know. Okay, so it's not like, "Oh, Whitey's probably some Orioles backup shortstop from 1964." So, and you may have already heard this. You may know instantly. But here's a little bit of our mystery voice. What do we got, Nate?
Tom, he goes up.
What are we doing? Jules!
You mean to tell me you can't
That was
make
it. Yeah, the first part. Yeah. What are we doing? Who was that? Do you know who that was?
But it sounds like somebody impersonating someone else.
Yeah. You want me to tell you?
Sure, or a hint.
And it relates to it relates to something you guys were.
Jules!
Relates to something you guys were just had on your show. That is
Tom Brady?
That is Julian Edelman as Tom Brady.
Wow.
He says that's the way Brady used to talk to him in the huddle.
Oh yeah, because he did say Jules.
Yeah.
What are we
Wow.
doing here? What are we doing?
Wow. Now I'm thinking when we start this segment, what are we doing? We have to get different people.
I know,
Just like
yes.
on the 4-letter network when they say it's a make or miss league. It's a make or miss league.
Yes.
We'll have a different king say, what are
Yeah,
we doing?
what are we doing
What are we doing?
Well, don't forget Julian Edelman.
Yes. Can't
Yes.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I was
Wow.
thinking of that when you guys were playing that speech, Tom Brady, and that went on. But it's like he doesn't really sound like that, does he? Not quite.
Well,
What are we doing?
Maybe when he's
how
yelling,
did
I
that
get,
speech make
Guys,
you feel? though?
guys.
How did that speech make you feel?
Sleepy. I kind of tuned out a quarter of the way through.
To be fair, I was supposed to start it at the special thing, and I forgot to know.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was the heavy-handed music that just made me think. I was thinking, what are we doing? Not about you guys, but about him.
yeah, about
I thought it was great.
It was a classic Brady speech. You know, like we should play some like Brian Dawkins speech or like Ray Lewis. You know,
well, I
those are
guess
some
maybe
real
maybe
speeches.
I
Drew
marketed
Brees, you know?
it incorrectly because it wasn't a pump up speech. It was more there's pump up and then
Yeah,
there's
that was
motivation.
motivation. Yeah, that was
motivation.
So I
Did you
don't
hear
know what exactly.
Tom Brady's cheat meal is, according to Julian Edelman?
Isn't it that the green tea ice cream or
No,
something?
his cheat meal is a chicken wing, according to Julian
A
Edelman.
single win.
Yeah, that would be his. I'm going crazy. I'm off my diet. A chicken wing.
I feel
That'd
like
be it.
that just makes me picture in the movie Dodgeball when White Goodman's like trying to restrain himself from eating the pizza, and he's like electric shocking himself, and then he like shoves it in his pants, and he's like, "What do we do? Knock next time."
Okay, now that you took it here, so now I can go and Whitey
Yes.
won't make fun of me. So I saw this thing a couple days ago that said that Ben Stiller's character. Did you see this?
No.
So his character from Fat Camp to Happy Gilmore to Dodgeball is the same person, and they had this whole breakdown on how after he
It's like a multiverse of like
after he loses his empire from
He, like,
Fat Camp, he then
like creates a gym.
Yeah, no. Then he goes to Happy Gilmore, where he has to start from the bottom and start working on his what he wants to use in the future, and he tries it out on the old people because that's where he works. In Happy Gilmore, he works with Happy's grandma.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to think of like
and
where
then
is he in
and then
Happy Gilmore?
After that he practices all of the things he wants to do, and then he launches Globo Gym. Yeah.
I
What are
love
we
that so
doing?
much.
That's
No,
right.
I love that. I love it. Yes. All the connective tissue. I love those things where it's like, yeah, these are actually, you could tie this movie into this movie.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why
it makes
not?
it a lot of fun.
Whitey, are you watching Clipped on Hulu?
No, I haven't checked it out yet.
You should definitely check it out.
It
I think
sounds
would make me
terrible.
Yeah, I think it would drive me nuts.
Did you guys hear that Lawrence Fishburne had never heard of Doc Rivers before getting the role?
Yeah,
And
which feels
he
like
doesn't follow sports.
yeah, it feels like that should disqualify him. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, you like especially with something that is so like sports centric. I understand, he probably did. I think he said he called Doc and talked to him, but it just kind of feels like you should probably have more than just you kind of look like Doc. Like that was
But
kind of
he's
his
a good actor,
qualification.
and
He's
he
a great
looks like
actor.
Doc.
No, he's a great actor.
If you look at other, but to him, it's another. All of the roles that he's done, right. When he was in the Matrix,
right.
He doesn't have any experience being in a Matrix. Not to my knowledge. It's all a
We're all in
simulation.
a
but
Matrix.
What if FX hired you, Chris? They said, we know you love basketball.
Oh, man.
We need another basketball show. We're going to hire you to do a series of them. We're going to hire you for millions of dollars, but we need one. We need it right now. So what is the next one? And then you're hired. But
The
we
topic?
need one right
Like the-
now.
oh, what it's centered
good-
around?
Something that happened in the NBA or is happening in the NBA with kind of some soap opera qualities that we can make into this great.
The Punch.
That's a fantastic
Punch.
question. The Punch is a good one. My mind went to Malice in the Palace for some reason, though I don't know if you could like make that into a whole series. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, like maybe the Warriors run, like with, I could imagine the episode where
You guys got on the same
Draymond just
page?
kind of picks up the phone and is like, hey, Kevin, and then goes to black, and
Well,
then
the
next
rumor
episode
was
starts.
right when I was still out there. And by the way, yes, Eric Stoneburner. Yes, the movie was Heavyweights. I think I called it Fat Camp. They were at Fat Camp. No, they were.
That's such a good mistake.
Thank you, Eric. The rumor was that I thought, Whitey, because you were there with me, I'm pretty sure that they were supposed to record that 2023 season. I don't quote me on this, but I thought that everyone assumed that they were following the Warriors around for 2022. They actually did for 2023.
Oh, too bad. Oops.
So that would be the punch.
Yeah.
Technically. But I don't know. There's all these rumors. It's just like
I did like the thought of there was initially like with the Showtime Lakers show, they were like thoughts of maybe, hey, they're just going to do the 80s in this season, and then the next one would be like the Kobe Shaq era, and then you could do the LeBron era. I do think like a Kobe Shaq show would be interesting because there's a lot
I don't think people
there.
can handle it. Because I know he wrote that book too.
Yeah.
The same guy that wrote
the Showtime book. Yeah.
And the stuff on Kobe, it's incredible, but I don't think people would stand for it.
Probably not. Because I mean, I think that there would be a lot in there that is almost like
It's contrary
too
to the
crazy
legend of
to be
Kobe
real.
right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah, that too.
What about
that'd be a
the
tough
even
sell.
if it's true?
Yeah,
I don't know
it'd
if
be a
it's
tough
true. Even if it is,
sell.
I think people don't want it. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't want to know it.
Right. Maybe in 15, 20 years when that's kind of in the rear view a bit, but right now it feels a little too fresh.
I don't know if this is enough to be a show, but the 3-1 comeback.
Oh, give me some of that. Inject that into my veins, please.
That's the one. LeBron says, I didn't have anything to prove after that. That proved that comeback that I was the greatest player ever.
That's right.
Ever heard him
I
say
don't know
that?
if there's
Yes.
enough drama
It's kind of crazy.
for a show, though. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you can get the
you can do the
firing
Warrior
of,
side.
Blatt.
Draymond probably freaking out when he gets suspended or can't play that next game. But
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we need to get more into the hidden or the found footage era too, where it's like, where can we get our next Last Dance? Honestly, I'm okay with the docuseries and all that, but to me, I want the hidden files of like, I want to see Draymond making that phone call to Kevin Durant in the parking lot. I want to see the punch. I was going to
say the Kevin Durant thing, and I sent this to you.
I want to see KD.
When Bob Myers says, KD can't have whatever he wants. If you rewatch that from that parade, we were talking about Bob Myers and everything that he gets credited for with the Warriors. If you watch that clip from the parade of all places, when Paying KD comes up and Bob Myers says, oh, well, Steph, that's different. He's from the way, way back. At the parade, saying that at the parade was actually insane. Because the whole thing, all this stuff is coming up again because Swaggy P, I don't even know what podcast he was on, said that Steph was crying in 2018 because he wasn't going to win Finals MVP, even though they swept. So all this stuff is getting rehashed. People are so bored, Whitey. They're finding.
How would Swaggy P know? And when
he was on the team.
Okay, you're
Swaggy
right.
was on the team.
That's right.
And so the whole thing is crazy. And I'm sure any documentary you want, they're coming up with it. There's probably just join a survey group. There you go. All right. Drive Guys up next. Whitey Gleason has it. Who else you got on today, Whitey?
Today we're going to talk to Brendan Nunes, and we're going to talk to the guy that you filled in for out at Sac Republic match. See how much damage you did. Connor Sutton's going to be with us.
Oh, my guy, Connor. All right. Fully loaded show like a baked potato. Don't go anywhere. Thank you to Nate. Thank you to the callers, the texters, the Sac Check, Stiles and Watkins. Until tomorrow, secure the bag. Like the beam.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.